All right, we live. So I was just downloading this mod for for Automobilista. So if anybody likes sim racing, I like sim racing. Um, I play a decent amount of sim racers. So for anybody who does sim racing, like a set of Corsa, these kind of games, you know you pretty much have to have at least two or three of these games. Um, oh. And Automobilista is definitely, if you like, you have to like it. If you don't like sim racing, then you're just not going to like it. But if you do like sim racing, it's fucking amazing. And I was just testing a mod right before I was getting ready to live stream to make sure it worked. But the hard part is with these older games, like it's hard because people just kind of throw them out and toss them out because everybody goes to the newest, newest games. So Automobilista 1 came out a long time ago, and it's harder to find. Oh, is this it? No, that's not it. It's harder to find this was in a time before it was commonplace to really make mods anywhere near mainstream. So it's a pain in the ass to fucking pretty much do anything with to find any mod. Cause I'm clicking on one, it's not even taking me. Grand Touring Group 5, 1977 and 1981. I want those. So if you're into cars in any kind of way, it's really a like you're just a kid in a candy shop. I'm not even a car guy. I'm talking like I'm a car guy. I'm not a car guy. My dad is more of a car guy than me. Oh, here's the mod right here. Okay, so you gotta go to YouTube and get it. Get the link. But if you're a car guy, and you like video games, you can do. Oh, what the hell is this? Yes, yeah, I don't even know where to find the mod at. Is it here? Because this was long before mods or anything was like I said more direct. Okay, here it is. I think I found it here. There's another mod I'm getting right now. Grand Touring Group 5. Yeah, here we go. Okay, I got it. It's a 3 GB download of this old ass game. All right, yeah. So what's up, everybody? Katie Hall, what's up, AD? I saw you being sampled on another YouTube video. Word up. That's crazy. Well, that's the internet. They probably okay to either see being the type of person I am. Thanks for tuning in, KD. Being the kind of person I am, it was either an agreement or I was getting just completely hated. It's going to be one or two. It's usually never just a normal, it's just nothing by the time somebody is talking to me, either they are in complete agreement with me or they are completely upset with me. And that's the gamble you got to take in life. If you want to be remembered, that's the gamble you got to take in life. If you want to be remembered, that is. Flick, what's good? What's good? What's up? What's up, Flick? Mr. Smith, what's good? Whole family's doing great. Yeah, everybody's all right. Katie Hall, he was using you when you say women don't think. Oh yeah, yeah. No, they don't. Not at all. Not okay. Not on any real in-depth level. On any I mean, they think, but okay. How that should probably be more thoroughly defined as women do shit jobs at giving anything any thorough thought. Any level of thorough thought just does not register. I'm going to install this other mod. Hang on. It just doesn't give any. They just don't give any thorough. I was just thinking today, like before I started this live stream, I was cooking some chicken. Very stereotypical meal. Um, but I was cooking some chicken, and to this day, I have never met a woman who. Hang on. Let me install this mod real quick. Oh shit! I just flipped it upside down. Hang on. Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna move these files. Oh shit! Not like that. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Install the mod now. So I haven't to this day. I have never met a. Okay, I won't say never. It's rare I will meet a woman who was clean on who has legit cleanliness, right? When I say legit cleanliness, now I'll come across women who will know how to clean things, especially when they know a man can be watching that they want, or a man they may want will be there, or somebody who's going to give them some money or something for free might be there. Every woman knows how to doll up anything real quick. They have cleanliness on that level. But when I say like legit cleanliness, I'm talking about biological cleanliness, right? When I'm talking like spreading shit like E. coli, doing shit that'll get the whole house sick, these kind of things. Like women have when you talk about cleanliness on the level of like that takes some effort of preparation for tomorrow. No, they don't have it. Like it's torture for them. The best that I came across was when I was in my biotech degree. By the way, I stumbled on an old. So in case anybody thinks I'm lying, you can go to. I tell you what, let's try to look it up on here. I doubt I'll be able to find it. You probably because you got to. I think you got to be in the group. Tech. You could find my name in there because I set my name up to where I could never be tagged. So they were looking for graduates. That's my old teacher right there. The first name up there. Let me see, because they were looking for people who graduated, and my name is in there, but I'm not tagged. So like, I had to like look it up later. Oh, shit. You probably gotta be like, yeah. I don't think you can search it unless you're logged in, but because it's gonna be way down the page. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, you gotta be logged in. I'm not logged in, but my name is in there. If you search, that group and you look up Wendell Radford, it'll say, hey, we're looking for the people, everybody who graduated from the year, I think like 2016 or something like that. I don't know, 2013. I don't remember what year I graduated, but it's on. There's no way I could have gone in there and edited that, right? It was like from like 4 years ago, some shit like that. As in they were saying like, hey, we're looking for graduates from this year, and we're looking for me and a bunch of other people that I was in the class with because they couldn't find us. So if anybody's interested, if you go on Facebook, join that group, Sinclair Biotechnology, and just type my name, Wendell Radford, and you should see where they were looking for graduates who graduated years ago and they could never find us. I don't care to reply to that because I didn't care for most of the people I was in there with anyway. It's not a secret because half of them didn't like me either, so it was mutual. I don't care to ever see. I mean, I don't wish anybody harm, but it just is. It is what it is. I graduated. I moved on in life. Now I live in Prague. That's life. It is what it is. But yeah, you got to be logged in. Sierra Monet, class of 2017. I don't know who this is. So she must have came in a year after I did. Whoever this girl is. Because I don't recognize any of these people. So this must have been if she graduated in 2017, I was living in Czech Republic in 2017. And she was class of 2000. Yeah, so she was years after me. But yeah. That's the type of shit I was doing. Yeah. Lab coats, mixing shit, looking at shit, making shit. That's all we did. Taking molecular biology, microbiology, biochemistry, organic chemistry, all the biologies and chemistries. Yeah, it was all that shit. And that's what I did. So that was your boy back in like 2012, maybe. That was me in there with the gloves and the lab coat. The one dude's wearing a baseball hat. I don't remember we had to wear hair nets when I was in there, so they must have changed up the protocols. I had to wear a hairnet and I'm bald, right? That was the protocols back then. And the dude in the bottom left was wearing a straight up baseball cap. So I don't know what happened with the QoS procedures. But yeah. But yeah, back to the women don't think thing. Yeah, like what that should be. Okay, the women don't prepare for anything. Like preparation is oppression to them, right? If you bring because it's like they just naturally don't have it. So if you bring it up, they gonna get offended because they didn't think of it before you did, and now they're gonna be mad about it, right? Like there's a part in their brain that just has no sense of planning for the future in any kind of way. And that's why I say Europe on a whole is pretty feminine because Europe on a whole is like that. Like when you come over here to Europe and you really get involved in how they move and you pick up on it real quick. They don't plan for the future. Okay. It just be like what's going to happen today, this week at the max kind of thing. And then, you know, and that's why I say like Europe on a whole is feminine. Right? It's that same general. There's a complete lack for planning for the future. Thinking for the future is just what happens now. Let's do this. Okay. I'm gonna see if this mod just worked. Grand Touring Group 5. I'm gonna launch it up real fast and make sure this mod worked. I just put in some old GT cars. The video was about a 40-year-old woman saying she wants a rich, attractive man. Well, that's not very descriptive, to be honest. But the one I've been thinking about lately there was a video a while back. What the fuck? This mod didn't change about the whole thing start up. I think I had this mod before because I remember seeing that the way that car looks. Oh, the woman I'm thinking about, I was thinking about earlier today. Remember that? I don't know if anybody remembers, but there was a woman. It was with the Cooper and cars. What's that motherfucker? Entrepreneurs in cars. He was having some Zoom call meeting with like 4 or 5 different people, and they were interviewed. They were talking to like 2 women. And the one woman, it just crashed. That mod just crashed. It didn't even load up. That the first woman was this white woman. You could tell she was like physically in shape and all that. And she said that she sells multivitamins for a living while she's affording a house in California, anywhere in California, with 3 kids. And her dream was to find a rich man at the grocery store. And I said, yeah, right. I said, yeah, right. But that's, they all fall into that. Most of them will. Most of them will. I think this mod just broke. I got to re-download the whole game. I think it just broke the game. Let's do this. Let's try. Oof. But yeah. 80, can you answer something for me? I've noticed older women are more sexual than younger women. Well, it's just that older women, at some point, the women have to start learning how to talk up, or at least initiate when they're like. Here's the thing, there's not a lot of difference between younger and older women when it comes to these. It's not a lot. There's because they pretty much stay the same since they're 13. But when but the thing is, like, when they're younger, they're just like the ripest fruit to be picked from. So like everybody's just drowning them in nonstop attention, to the point where, like, when it's a younger attractive girl, she has no time to even when she's a younger attractive girl, she has no time to even voice many things, really think about anything, 'cause she's just kind of being handed shit. She's getting stared at, whatever, like, all the way through life at that point. So she's not going to have any time to really speak up. But by the time they start hitting 30, 35, 40, see, all that attention starts to die off. And now they're going out there, trying shit again, right? Now it's like, now they at that point they officially hit the life, the area in life where, let's say, like, a guy at the top of his game is in terms of social meeting. So like, now even a guy at the top of his game, he still has to go out there and do something, right? Whereas when a woman's at the top of her game, she doesn't have to do anything. She's, outside of the bare essentials, like feed herself and walk down the street. That's all she has to do. Okay. So yeah, I think that mod, if anybody cares, I'm trying to work this mod. The mod I just downloaded, I think it fucked up. It's not working. It just crashes the whole game when I try to run this one. Try to run this one more time. 80, what's up? It's snowing here in Nevada. What's up, Alex? And it's snowing out there? Jesus Christ. I seen Trump. Everybody out here asks me what I think about Trump. What he's doing. And like I said, I honestly don't care. Like, it's just being like, yo, but I seen you, they out there, they ICE is hitting it. Fuckers. ICE is out there fucking hitting it. Like, the ICE is not fucking around, dude. Like, I'm like, at least what it looks like on YouTube. Now, I'm not there, so I can't really speak on it. But on YouTube, it looks like ICE ain't playing around. Them motherfuckers are going into houses. Like, they don't give a fuck. Now, here's the thing. Now, people out here, I keep, all my students always ask me what I think about it. I say, I don't care. But here's the thing. Now, I will never say I'm a Trump supporter, because has nothing to do with his politics or anything like that. And it never was why I would never vote for Trump from the beginning, from his first time going for it. And I've always said the same as that. You can go dig up any YouTube video where I talked about it anywhere. The reason why I would never vote for Trump is because how he talks. That's it. Which sounds like nothing. It sounds like I'm being a cupcake or whatever like that. But when you have to factor in, you have a country of people, or it's really at this point the world is listening to him. It's how he talks that will, which happened, by the way, will lead a dumb motherfucker into go blowing up a Mexican church, or shooting up a Mexican church, or harming Mexican people. Because if Trump goes off and says, yeah, it's the Chinese flu or some shit like that, now next thing you know, motherfuckers getting beat up on the street because Trump called it the Chinese flu. Now when somebody goes and beats up an Asian person on the street, not far out of their mouth, it'll be, well, Trump don't even want to hear anyway. He called it the Chinese flu. Blah, blah, blah. Because it's how Trump talks. Because the average person is not intelligent enough to listen to somebody like him talk. That's why I would never vote for him. If Trump shut the fuck up and just started doing this shit, I would say, yeah, most of the shit is pretty fair in line if you give it, some thought and reasoning, in my opinion, right? I'm not against him on a political level when it comes to just strictly that. It's his character and personality that I do not think the average person is intelligent enough to be exposed to that. I just don't. I don't think they are in North America, right? And then you talk about outside of North America where they're listening to Trump, like, yeah, and I think that's just a whole huge ball of confusion by that point because Trump is tackling American problems in America country in the country of America and American culture, right? So when you have people in Czech Republic talking about they gonna vote for Trump, like, yeah, like everything that you're getting from Trump is the reflection of your country's problems and your country's issues, and then you're hearing and you're just interpreting it from an outsider perspective, right? It would be like, I don't know, it would be like me voting for the mayor of Shanghai, right? I know fucking nothing about Shanghai outside of some movies, YouTube, maybe met three Chinese people, some shit like that, right? So where, so there is no, in my opinion, there is no intelligent way I should be able to vote for the mayor in Shanghai, right? You see what I'm saying? If that makes sense, right? Yeah, I think that it would be a complete ignorant. I mean, I can say I can say that I like what the person running for mayor of Shanghai is saying based off of my interpretation of it, and the only culture that I know is North America and Czech culture. But like, I have no idea what's going on in China in that mentality and culture and lifestyle. At that point, like I'm completely ignorant. So like that had and see with somebody like Trump in North America who has worldwide appeal just from the basic fact alone that America is a media powerhouse, I don't think Trump. I would never vote for Trump because of these reasons. Um, but with that being said, I do agree with the shit I've been hearing and seeing so far, with the majority of it on one level or another. I agree with a lot of it. Like with the illegal immigration shit, yeah, it was always a problem. Like on a legal standpoint, it's in the word illegal, right? And I think COVID just sped all it up. COVID sped up a lot of the the pandemic, the COVID pandemic really was a benefit for real. It sped up all the bullshit, right? Because before that, everybody was a lot more lenient with money, this and that. Inflation was still there, but it didn't really hit that hard. Yeah, see, COVID fucked around and stripped out a lot of that leeway in life to where motherfuckers had to start thinking and focusing on something. COVID just sped it up. COVID was a blessing in disguise for life, for the reality in a lot of ways. Now, there's other ways it hurt too, but all these issues that's going on now, they did not just pop up because COVID hit, and it just didn't pop up. All of those issues were already there. They were all, like what's that song? The cracks began to show. COVID just sped up those cracks. They were always there. But yeah, you see, he says snowing out in Nevada. Back to Alex, snowing in Nevada, that's wild shit. I know that's got to be crazy. Seeing snow in Nevada has to be. I should call a friend of mine because he lives out there. No, he lives in Arizona. The one I was living with when I went to Texas. He ended up moving to Arizona. You re-uploaded I re-uploaded one of your vids to YouTube and it got deleted for hate speech. You know what? Like, I miss the days. I still remember. It's funny you bring up the hate speech thing because I remember. I think of the days before everybody got so offended, right? And I still remember watching. Okay, this is might be a little older, but there was this musical artist named Dev or DEV. And I actually liked their music at the time because there was not a lot like it at the time. It was that white girl trying to be hip hop, but it was good though. I really enjoyed it. At the time. There was not a lot of musicians like her at the time, and and I remember I was reading the comment section when she did a live performance and her tits was hanging out, and not like completely out, but they were she was showing cleavage, right? And so in the comment section, people just writing dim tits in the comment section. Like now, you just could you would just be filtered out now because everybody's turning a bunch of censored faggots now. But back then, you could write whatever the fuck you know what I mean, like nobody cared. But everybody's turned sensitive. You know what? I'm predicting in about 5 more years, you're gonna start seeing a lot more men wearing dresses. In about 5 years, they like because they tried to normalize that shit for a while. Hold on, let's go. They was really trying to normalize that shit in the world for a while. To have men wear Nike has men's. They had them at the time. Maybe they took them off now because they probably took them off. Can you guys see this? Yeah, you can see that. But they legit had like they were trying to push that shit. Like society loves to test men's masculinity or just ability to be outspoken as men. It's a constant test. Men go through it, and a lot of men fail at it because they just don't want to fight. Right. Let me see if I can find Oblasky, which is pictures. Yeah, see, they was trying to push this shit. It probably done died on out. Can you guys see that? They was really trying to push having men sitting up wearing in any kind of way they could, right? Wearing skirts and shit. See, as a man, like society loves to test masculine shit. Because see, you want to know why that is? Okay. Why I say that is because you never see men going out there and trying to dress up women to look like men. You never see that. You never see men. I mean, you might see a man try to, have a woman do something a little tougher, but you never see men collectively going out to try to have women, dressing like men. Being baggy clothes, poorly fitted, relatively speaking, poorly fitted clothes, hair chopped off and all that shit. Men never collectively go do that, but women love to collectively go out and turn men into a bunch of bitch-made faggots. It's a personal accomplishment for the sadistic side of women to do that. They can't help it. And then before you, and they can't help it. And then before you know it, there's gonna be a handful of guys who'll just be like, okay, fuck it. I think women will still find me desirable if I just follow their lead. And then you'll have a bunch of dudes that'll try to go out there and be on, and adopt it and become male feminists, start wearing makeup, start getting their nails. I've known guys to get their nails polished. I remember one guy clearly would do that. He would put nail polish on. He wasn't like a gay dude either. He was just one of them dudes. He just gave up and started doing it. I've been seeing these dudes now. I see younger guys now with fucking like wearing black nail polish and shit. Dude, no. I see young kids out here doing that shit now, putting on nail polish. Nail polish. For real. That's unbelievable. Like, imagine, here's the thing. I'll be ready to tell a funny, embarrassing story. Not for me, but for my brother. Imagine the process, right, of a man. This motherfucker went to the store and then went into the fucking bitch aisle of the store looked at the fucking colors of nail polish and went, yeah, I think that's a good shade, right? And picked that motherfucker, and then he had to analyze it, right? Because you don't want to get the wrong shade for your fingernails. This motherfucker looked at the shits and was like, well, this is magenta blue and this is midnight blue. I think I have more clothes go with magenta blue. I'll pick this one. This motherfucker, okay, it doesn't stop there. You hear me? This motherfucker then walks the nail polish up to the fucking cash register with no shame. I hope he has some shame. So yeah, I'd like to buy this, please. Pays for this shit. This motherfucker paid. This motherfucker paid. For, men's. Let's just do this, man. Look, man, hell no. This is fucking fag shit. Fucking faggot shit. This motherfucker. And then, okay, now, I don't give a fuck who. If you are a man wearing fucking nail polish, you are a fucking faggot. Period. There's no way around it, bruh. You a fag. All right, you that's faggot shit. All right, I don't give a fuck who you are. You could, okay. Look, it just is what it is. It is what it is. All right. If you could beat me up, then you a fag who can beat me up. Do not put fucking nail polish. Okay, no, and I'm not even done with the process. Think about the entire process this shit has to take as a grown ass man, right? Now you imagine driving home with your newly bought nail polish. You got to make sure you don't crack the bottle because you don't want to break the bottle because it's your nail polish. Now you keeping it in safe quarters on your drive home. Your magenta blue. You drove this shit home. And at this point, you have adopted such faggot feminine traits that you ain't even thinking about the nail polish. You think about some other shit. Why you just bring the nail polish in and not even really paying attention to it? Like, it's not even a big deal for you. Like, I'm going to put on nail polish. I'm like, no, I'm going to put on nail polish, bro. It's not even a big deal, right? And then you sit down somewhere. Okay, I wonder, like, okay, when you're a man who puts on nail polish, like, do you put the shit on and sit like a fucking faggot, or do you try to sit like you tough smoking a cigarette with a 6-pack next to you? Like, how do you even do it? Do you sit down and do some shit like this, or do you try to sit down like, yeah, my nails a little dirty, homie. Let me brush these shits off. Like, how do you even do that shit? And then you sit back and you look at it and be like, looks a little good to me. And then you walk outside like that. No. What's that motherfucker's name? Megan Kelly, R. Kelly Fox. What's this motherfucker's name? Like, look, Megan Fox. Look. But this shit, no, this is a rapper. I don't know his name, but look, no, dude, this is fag shit. This is fag shit, 100%. Johnny Depp doing it too? That's homo shit, dude. That's fucking straight up gay shit, dude. Period. No way around it. No way around it. Let me be real clear. If you are a man and you are putting fingernail polish on, you are a faggot. Every woman is thinking it. She's just not gonna say it. Now, if you got a lot of money, she can deal with fucking it, because most women will fuck other women. They don't care. But it deep down, if you get her drunk and get her talking, she will be laughing in this chat right along with the men. But she's never gonna say it. Oh, it's okay to you headed back to work. Cool, man. Machine Gun Kelly, that's his name. Machine Gun Kelly. fucking fingernail polish. That's wild shit, man. A grown ass man wearing fingernail polish. I mean, I was in the store a few weeks ago now, and there's this one dude. He always stinks, right? I'm talking like he has just body odor. This motherfucker just don't take a shower. Or if he's taking a shower, he's living with a bunch of dogs. No, that's like that. No, that smell is straight body odor. Like this motherfucker is not showering or putting on deodorant. And and like I really should have called him out because I just this one time I'm just wasn't in the mood to even like start a problem. Usually I don't really care, but like if I'm just not in the mood, this time I almost did. I remember because I went to go buy some shit. And like you could smell this motherfucker from a good 3 meters away. You could smell him. You know what I mean? Like he has what's that? AOE area. This motherfucker has a radar. This motherfucker he produces odors that travel. Okay, you had to be close up on this motherfucker. I remember I went to the line. I went to go buy shit, right? And I smelled him. I was getting ready to say something to him. And then I looked over, and I'm not exaggerating. I looked over, and there was some cologne, like, to be sold, like, right next to him. Right? And, like, I don't know why I didn't say something, because usually I would have just said something and just had him get mad at me about it. Like, how do you smell like that? And you have cologne sitting right next to you, bro. And it wasn't expensive cologne. It was a cheap store. So the cologne was probably like $20, some shit like that. But it was $20 better smell than what he was already on. Like, and I don't know why I did, because usually I would have just said something in that situation. But yeah. It's not an interesting story. But splash damage, yeah. Like, Jesus Christ. Because here's the thing. When it comes to body odors, like, I get body odor sometimes because, like, for example, I have an uncle, right? This dude lives alone. He's always been alone. He's not like, he's actually in great shape, but he always smells, right? And the reason why he smells is because he lives alone and he wears the same clothes and he never puts it on. He's never been a cologne kind of guy or anything like that. So he can't smell it. Now, I can understand that. Like, if it's a scenario, let's say like I was sitting behind a guy on a train today and he brought a dog on with him and he smelled like a dog. And it was a small dog too, but he smelled like a damn dog, right? And it's just like hitting me the whole time on the train. But it's like, okay, like, he's living with a dog, he can't smell it. So I'm not mad about that, right? If it's a scenario where, like, you could just be, what I mean? Like, there's certain scenarios you get mad about it and others you don't. Like, in a scenario like that, I can't blame him for that because he can't smell it. But when a motherfucker is like, if it's like straight up body odor, like this, when it hits that point where it's like, this is body odor, and that's when it's so one thing about Czech Republic that's great and one thing that's bad is what's great is the public transportation is amazing out here. If any form of public transportation is any more late than 2 minutes, people start looking around like the world's getting ready to end. That's one of the few things Czech Republic thoroughly got right on their own accord. It wasn't fueled by another country. It was strictly them and their culture. That's one of the few areas where Czech Republic completely outdoes, from what I hear, most other places on earth. The bad side is hygiene, especially when it gets hot, because they don't have air conditioning on a lot of trains, and even if they do, they never really adapted to that technology. The majority of the people, because they still think it makes them sick and all that silly shit. So they have a certain smell. Like, remember, I don't know if anybody remembers, but a long time ago, I think Donald Trump got caught saying that black people smell. He was renting out like flats. I think it was Donald Trump. I may be wrong, but I think it was Donald Trump. He was renting out flats to some black people, like some Africans or something like that. And he was recorded saying that maybe it wasn't Trump, but it was somebody. No, it was the dude who was fucking that Spanish bitch who got caught like saying a bunch of racist shit on phone recording. Donald Sterling, it was him. I'm pretty sure it was him, and he was saying all black people smell, right? Well, here, Czech people smell, right? When you get on the trains and shit like that, and that's because that whole lack of hygiene, like they had, and it's really a particular smell that you learn like once you've been here, like you immediately know it. Like there's a certain smell that they'll have here, like on the trains, and whether they're homeless or not, that doesn't matter. Like, there is a very specific smell that they have. But yeah, catch a couple of comments. Thoughts on clear nail polish? I see that a lot of men getting their nails done. Man, because per Smith, because a lot of dudes are turning into just like trying to just be accepted by and this is the constant test that men go through from women, right? It's woman's job to sit there and like see if she can break you down, right? Just to test you, like a child, right? And some men will fall for it and break and fold for whatever reason. Um, let me tell you this: Kratos ain't walking around with no damn nail polish. All right, the motherfuckers going out there working on shit, building houses, doing actual manly shit, blacksmithing. These motherfuckers ain't running around wearing nail polish, doing real blacksmithing. You might find one, a unicorn type of dude to a woman, but you ain't gonna. This whole thing, see, it's really weird. Because here's the thing: if you look back in history, right, it all makes perfect sense in North America. And like I said, the rest of the world ends up following North America for what gets popular. For example, if Kim Kardashian made an Instagram where she just looked in the camera and just kept saying salamanders and blue jeans, salamanders and blue jeans, the entire world would know salamanders and blue jeans. She just kept saying it because she's Kim Kardashian. She's the shit in media, right? Her name is a household name, right? It is what it is, right? Um, well, I got sidetracked trying to read a comment. Um, but yeah, the, I forgot where I was going with that. Fuck, I lost my train of thoughts. I caught up reading a comment. Oh, I remember. Oh yeah. So if you look back in history, in American history, relatively, I say, relatively is from the '60s and onwards. It all makes perfect sense, right? So, but before that last wave of feminism hit and all that, men, it was more likely of a chance that men would stay in a house with the family if you wanted to, or there would be a man in the household with the family because women, for what either they were just they didn't earn as much because technology hadn't caught up to give women the cushiony jobs yet, or women, there's a lot of women who just never wanted to work and just try to just live off of just hustling guys by sucking their dicks and shit. There's always been that population. Well, and though the offspring from those populations was where we got, um, for what we call now toxic masculinity. Every movie was murder, was like brutally slaughtering a million people. Rappers, music, rock stars. It was all about being dirty, being grungy, that kind of thing. It was all about that. It was all about being men to be feminine. That shit didn't to come out in the world being too clean and all that in America. That didn't happen until the rise of the single mother households, because now you had all these boys being raised by women, right? When they tried to break up the families in North America by having the women just take alimony, child support, and she was able to live on her own. Now you had this huge influx in single mothers raising boys. So then what happened? So that next wave of hip hop, rap, singing, rock, all this shit. Now you had this entire generation raised by women. Now the guys grew up to be a bunch of fags, right? They run around with lipstick, and now it's about wearing eye. Now guys are running around wearing eyeshadows, making music videos like this with their nails out. Now a good part was the sagging pants era stopped, but the bad part was the super tight skinny jeans came out. Right? And now they got these manicured beards, manicured haircuts. Guys are getting their lashes done. Guys are starting to wear these wigs, not just an old basic toupee, that like you would only see like older men wear, but guys are going out there getting a whole tape on wig shit to make it look like they got stylized hairstyles. The guys are breaking their kneecaps to get surgery to get taller. They're turning into women. It's woman shit. Because I guarantee you. Well, there's no way I can because there's no way to prove it. But if by midnight tonight it was now law that fathers had to be in the house with the mothers and the mothers had to be submissive to the men and all this and that, the next offspring of media, entertainment, forums, all this shit like that, all that would be gone. The fingernails, the tight jeans, the lipstick, all that shit would be gone in the next batch. I would guarantee it. Well, I can't. There's no way to prove it, but that's what will happen. '80s male R&B, yeah, Jobby, yeah, yeah. Yeah, '80s male R&B brand. Yeah, every rhythm and blues song from the '80s on up was, "Does she love me? And she will let me know. Me, keep it on the low. I'm so hurt, but she wouldn't call me on the phone, and I am all alone. Oh, this is what I need." All my life, I pray for someone like you. It was all that fag shit. And now we got a world full of chumps. And we got a world full of Simpson chumps. Jesus Christ. That's fucked up. How do Czech people smell when their food is bland? Mo, what's up, Mo? I don't know. Well, okay, one is because, well, let's just go real fast. Because Czechs consume the most beer per capita in the world. It's not even close. Like, the Czechs consume far more beer than any other country in the world per capita. And it's not even close. Yeah, so this is from Statista. You guys see that? And it's not even it's like, and they're leading it by far. I would say that would have a lot to do with it, just that the general alcohol consumption on a whole. And I've always said this, the reason why it is Germany's essentially keeping them drunk. Like it's a really disgusting situation, but it's the reality. Germany does not want Czechs coming into Germany. Germany does not want Polish coming into Germany, right? This is what it is. They don't want that. The country on a whole does not want that. So what do? They're going to subsidize alcohol in their countries to keep it cheap, to keep them drunk, and in their home countries to keep them out. Right? It is what it is. Right? But Czechs drink by far the most. I would say the beer has a lot to do with it. And then on top of that, they eat a lot of pork. Czechs will eat a lot of pork because fish here is just so expensive. You just don't. I was just having a conversation with one of my students last week, because I was telling him how in Portugal they had just full fish markets. Like, their thing is seafood out there. I would have never guessed Portugal's thing was seafood, but even though they're on the ocean, you just never hear Portugal and seafood in the same sentence. But when I was out there, like, it's just seafood markets. Like, it's like unbelievable. For me, it was unbelievable seafood markets. Just the types and the quantities and qualities, like fresh out the water, just in there, right? And so the all you can eat seafood out there, it was like, I think like $13, something like that, for all you can eat sushi. Whereas here, I was telling him when I was, here's the thing, I had never realized shrimp could be almost a delicacy until I was living in Českolipa in Czech Republic, and I was at this really good restaurant actually. It was a really great restaurant, and they had shrimp, and so I ordered the shrimp, and I'm thinking I'm getting ready to get like a whole plate full of shrimp for like it was like $20 for the shrimp. When they brought this shrimp out, and I'm not exaggerating, it was on a skewer with like maybe it was no more than six shrimps on the skewer, and it was like $20 for that. Right? I had no idea shrimp could ever be considered a delicacy because everybody, for any American watching this, like you can go to any all-you-can-eat buffet and it's just filled with fried shrimp, shrimp scampi, whatever the fuck, right? In America, shrimp is you. I remember I used to always tell my spouse, and then when I went to America, I video called her and showed her. You can go to Walmart. Maybe if prices, maybe inflation's hit now, but you could always go to Walmart and get you a whole big bag of frozen shrimp for like $5. Like it was enough to where you could not sit there and eat the whole bag in one sitting, unless you were trying to make yourself sick. Because in the U.S., there was plenty of times where I would sit at the computer, I would just get my shrimp, I would cut up blocks of cheese and just play online chess for hours and drink scotch, and that's what I would do. I would eat shrimp, eat cheese, drink scotch, and play chess for hours. And that would be like my whole day. Right? Just doing that. So, but to answer your question, Mo, they eat a lot of pork. Um, um, I've known people that will smell when they eat pork. I'm not saying everybody does it, but what I'm trying to say is that could very well be a possibility. Um, um, Between alcohol, pork, and then on top of that, what you also find too is like just like anywhere, the diets they're not very like a lot of people get stuck in their one type of diet and they don't adventure out into other things. So if you keep eating like a certain thing, sooner or later it's going to start coming out whether like in your skin or smells or urine something about you is going to start changing if you stay only eating like certain things and Czech Republic is a country that is since it's landlocked their primary foods because I was trying to grow peppers here and it's just impossible you can't do it well yeah I'm sure you could if you just had a proper greenhouse or something like that but I don't um, since Czech Republic's landlocked, with that in combination of the climate, they're stuck to just pretty much vegetables that come from roots. Um, they're going to be stuck primarily that's going to be at a good price. Vegetables from roots, pork, chicken. You can always find chicken because you can grow chicken on landlocked anywhere. Chicken will always be everywhere because that's the chicken and pork will always be where poverty is. You will never have a slowdown of chicken and pork because those are the two of the relatively speaking easiest meats to grow as far as I'm aware. Now, cows, I can't remember why, but there was a reason why Czech Republic gets screwed on beef, and I completely forget. As I looked into it a while ago, and I can't remember it anymore. But beef can go up pretty bad in price too, so people stay away from beef. So when it comes to meat, they're mostly stuck with chicken or pork for the most of them. Most of them won't spend any extra money for beef. And fish is just pretty much non-existent for it's just it's not I would say fish for the most part is going to be non-existent for most people's lifestyle here. Somebody asked me do I like salmon? Yeah, of course I like salmon. Salmon, yeah. Czechs don't use body wash or cologne. Well, here's the thing: you will find some who do, but okay. So Mo, checks okay like my neighbors and everybody like I don't know anybody who lives near me that has ever smelled but it's definitely like if you google it I'm sure there'll be complaints about it check. Let's say hygiene. I probably spelled some hygiene wrong. Oh, well, okay. So here, yeah, this is on expats.cz. Now, expats.cz is a legitimate, because I was just on there earlier today reading Czech news. Um, so they said smells like civic spirits. Brno, which is a city south of here, could hand out deodorant for better smelling trams, and that's because they smell so bad when they get on trams. Now, not every Czech is going to smell like that, because there are some good Czechs with great hygiene. I'm not trying to say all, but it is definitely a problem that people know. Like, now the explanation that I got from the smell is that it's in their culture, because when communism was here, things like deodorant were so expensive that you couldn't afford them. So the only people who wore deodorant were women. So the men, even the older guys now, don't take to deodorant or antiperspirant because it's just in them to automatically assume that's for that attention to detail for cleanliness is just for women. But it comes from their history of communism with like things like cologne, perfumes, deodorant, antiperspirant. It was just so expensive the guys couldn't, that you just couldn't afford it, so they would just give it all to the women so they could have it and smell good. And that's the story I got of where it comes from. But yeah, so this is on expats.cz. Is a legitimate website for Czech Republic. And anybody who's thoroughly been in Czech Republic will tell you. This is actually where I live, Prague 5. Yep, this is Prague 5. This is actually where I live. I live in Prague 5. The mall I go to is Novi Smíchov. Was in Czech, that means new laughing town. This is actually where I live. And this was 3 years ago. Prague 5 has city's smelliest public transport passengers, says new survey. Only about half of Prague's public transport passengers shower daily, according to new. Can you guys read that? Because make sure I'm not, I want you to see this. So, in a survey, half of Prague's public transport passengers shower daily. Half. Now, add that in. Okay, now think about that. Add that in when you're talking the temperatures gets to 95 and 100. And then add it in when you're riding a tram that has no AC and it's hotter in the tram. And see and how bad that gets. Prague's public transportation system has been cited as one of the most reliable, and that's what I said, most reliable and most efficient in the world. Yes. And I give it, look, Czech Republic's public transportation is the best I've ever seen. And that's the same story I get from people who've been to other places. They say the same thing. The transportation system here, when it comes to the efficiency, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. It says, but city residents have no shortage of complaints about traveling by bus, metro, or tram. So the metro is the underground train. In America, we call metro the bus. Over here, they call metro the underground train. One of the chief among those is something city officials have no control over: overbearing odors emanating from some of its passengers. In fact, the city itself has highlighted smelly or otherwise annoying passengers in a new public service campaign. Let's check this out real fast. Is it a video? No, that's not a video. Okay. So it says, despite being a long-known problem, the city itself has been unable to successfully combat odors on its own public transport vehicles. See, these are the stories that you never get back, like in North America or even in any news. Right now, yeah, you never hear these stories. A pilot project brought air fresheners to Prague trams in 2011, but because of complaints that the fragrance scents irritated the allergies of some passengers, the project was quickly abandoned, leaving body odor as the predominant aroma on Prague's public transports. Yeah. See, these are the stories you'll never see. CNN, NBC, they not gonna talk about this. You ain't gonna see Instagram reels going off about this, right? This is what it is. It's Europe. You'll never get these stories unless you come here and live here, and then you have to be the small few who know it, right? When it's Europe, right? It is what it is. It's always irritated. This is a common trait that I see of why Czech Republic will never ever grow is because this is a common situation as to why Czech Republic will just never grow because there is some and this is where I say like I'm not here for I don't advocate Hitler but I understand right I understand I don't advocate I don't think you should kill anybody I don't think you should kill people because they smell but I can understand. And this is a common trait that I see in Czech Republic. Any sign of personal growth or development, they reject it. It's always ultimately rejected. Unless again you're that small group who has to work pretty much underground from the regular culture to do something of value. But the general mainstream people, mm-mm, nope. If there's any chance of growth, personal development, it's always going to be an excuse. It's always going to be an excuse. That's the downside of Czech. That's a severe downside of Czech Republic. It's always on my allergies. It's always that. Passengers themselves might help alleviate the situation, but according to the new Ipsos survey on showering habits conducted. Okay, here it says I'm back. Okay, I don't know how far what got cut off, so I'll go back and read the last paragraph because on my end it said reconnecting. So it says, according to this, okay, oh wait, passengers themselves might help to alleviate the situation, but according to a new Ipsos survey of showering habits conducted on 1,000 Prague residents this month, August 2022, the trend may not be reversing anytime soon. According to the survey, only about half, 51% of Prague residents confirmed that they took a daily shower during the summer months. Worse yet, 2/3 of those who do take a daily shower say they do so in the evening. So that's like not even a truly potent shower at that point. Right? Now, see, I'm not making this up. This is not my website. You can go on expats.cz. This is like, I don't know, like their version of I don't know. This is their website. There's no way I could have written this article or made it. This is their shit. I'm not making this up. That 51% of Prague residents confirmed that they took a shower, and they even put it in italics, during the summer months. Hygiene, bruh. Hygiene. Hygiene. It's hygiene. And here's another thing is I'm gonna put my spouse on blast with this. I remember I was trying to explain to her that there's different qualities of deodorant and antiperspirants, right? I don't know if it's a European thing. Like there's some things I think like Europe on a whole, they just never quite adapt to technologies very well. Like for example, like having a dryer at home. Most Czechs will not have a dryer. Most Europeans don't have dryers at home. Like in proper Europe, they just don't do dryers. They're just gonna hang their clothes up. In America, you'd be a hillbilly for doing that. Right, but I hear that they'll just do it, right? There's technologies that they just never ever caught up on, right? And it's like basic shit. But then and the other weird part is like the few things. Now this is just and I'm just ranting right now, but the weird part is they like when I do tend to talk to any average European in Europe proper about health. Now, okay, grant there are some that do get it, but they usually have to move quietly. They can't be outspoken. But I've met a fair share of those too. But in the general population, whenever we go on a topic of health, like they're still operating on that pre-Hippocrates shit of airflow will make you healthier. You need airflow in the room, but in the other instance, they don't understand airflow. It's like when you want to dry clothes, like they don't understand to hang up clothes with space between the clothes. Like they just don't get like there is a severe deficit in development. Like I said, I don't agree with Hitler, but I can see where that shit can come from. I get it. Like there's just certain like things that just don't add up. Because here's the other part that doesn't add up too. Well, now I'm focused on Europe and the past, right? Okay, let's just do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's just do. Okay, let's just take these for example. Because I've been meaning to explain this for a long time. Okay, let's take any one of these muscular bodies as an example, right? It doesn't really matter. I don't want to put the neck one up there because I don't want to get fucking flagged or something like that. Okay, so okay now really okay. No, I'll tell you what we do. Let's do gladiator. This is complete now these, and I'm going to explain why this is complete bullshit. Right? And it's really shocking how dumb people are because they just accept Europe for being Europe. Let's just take this, for example, right? Let's take this. Now look at this dude's body, right? Now I think this might be AI, but this is what the general, and this is even a lower instance of it. Now, just to put Europe on complete blast, right? On a whole, with this whole European history of gladiators and Spartans, and they were the best warriors and this and that. Okay. Let's really spell out the reality of this, right? You have to remember, back in these times, from a health standpoint, this was when and I'm not exaggerating, this was when basic knowledge of getting 8 hours of sleep a night was pretty much reserved for the king. Okay? They didn't know. That you should get 8 hours of sleep every night. They didn't know. This was back when they had no real understanding. They had no understanding of diets. Most of the people were just eating bread or shipping bread out. So you have to remember, back everybody wasn't walking down the street looking like that in ancient Greece. All right. All right. And I say most, if not most of the warriors were not walking around looking like that. These motherfuckers did not know. They did not know. Okay. Stupid motherfuckers nowadays. This goes back to the voting for Trump and also being from like another country, right? It's the reality of deducing the logic. Okay. People nowadays think that because we know now that you should have 8 hours of sleep, you should work up, running to get a 6.5 minute mile to get a good time or whatever the fuck, right? A 6 minute mile. The record was, I think, 5 minutes, 30 seconds, something like that. See, we know all these things now. We've made legit workout equipment. We have legit tailored diets. We have diets broken down to the exact mineral, vitamin, fucking, I can't think of the other word now, but we have legit, we have broken down the human body to a much deeper science now. And we still don't have a whole lot of dudes walking around looking like that. All right. I would say the average dude in the Marines doesn't walk around looking like that. Believe it or not, especially when they're like younger, they're not walking around looking like that. They look like regular, maybe, regular physically healthy dudes. They're not walking around super duper cut up and shit, right? But I think the average person thinks that because we have this knowledge now, that they had this same knowledge back then, and they just worked with it back then, and they just lifted rocks. You know what I mean? Like, the substitute. No, these motherfuckers back then, they literally did not know that they should get 8 hours of sleep a night. That shit was reserved for the king. The rich people, that was knowledge for the rich people. They didn't know this shit. So when they making these sculptures, these over hyper masculine muscle dudes, whenever you see these sculptures, this for them was like Marvel Comics for us. So 2,000 years from now, when people fuck around, they dig through their history books and they see comic books and they see Spider-Man with his shirt off and shit like that, they're gonna look back and a dumb motherfucker from the year 4000 is gonna go, oh yes, they were training and yeah, they were a special, and they had a mystery juice that they had them that way because they ate the paleo diet. That's what got Tobey Maguire in that shape. Yes. It was mystery foods that did it, and they were all natural. No, like, no, it was bullshit. I mean, you got a dude here or there that looks like that, but most people ain't walking around looking like, you know what I mean, like Captain America. There's a dude somewhere on Earth that looks like him, but that's not the norm, right? So this whole over glorification of ancient Greece is complete bullshit. Like, they was regular dudes, right? If anything, they was, okay, compared to the people now, they was dumb as fuck. But people want to glorify Europe, and that's where Europe gets away with all this shit. Like, dude, a, a basic military now would annihilate the best military from back then. Them motherfuckers was not superheroes. Them motherfuckers was not Spider-Man and the Punisher and them. Them motherfuckers was regular dudes who fucked around and figured out they could run a little longer and pick up something heavy and put a helmet on. That's it. Them motherfuckers was not superhumans. Really think about the logic. Again, these motherfuckers didn't even know they didn't even know they should get 8 hours of sleep as a health benefit. Think. I've always thought, like, I've never really shared that thought. I just wanted to get that out because I've been thinking that for a long time. Like the logic, like these, like that was their Marvel comics. It was literally their Marvel comics. Chicken Connection is this fucked up? Let me see. Let me see if I'm still good now. Chicken Connection is this fucked up? I just upgraded my internet. I should be having like 50 upload speed now. Eric W. Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah. Most Africans probably it wasn't walking around looking like that. It's their version of Marvel Comics. That's what it is. It's their version. Actually, I could just pull it myself. I got this desktop up. Oh, shit. Yeah, it's just their version of Marvel Comics. So all it does is lead people to chase these impossible standards. These ridiculously impossible standards for diets, whatever. And it's a fucking joke. Now, okay, now I'm sitting up with a 6-pack ab and an in shape body and all this stuff like that. But I don't expect everybody to walk. I don't expect people to sit up and everybody to just do that because a lot of it's just biological luck. But anyway, let's go back to this article on expats.cz. But I agree with you, Eric. Yeah, yeah. It would just doing their version of Marvel Comics. But yeah, so where I left off was yeah, you can see that. So daily shower, only half of people on public transportation took a daily shower during the summer. Now, okay, also you got to remember, public transportation, Prague, everybody takes public transportation. It's not like public transportation in North America. Public transportation in North America would pretty much be reserved for people you would think wouldn't take a bath daily, right? Over here, it's not like that. These types of places, everybody takes trams, trains, whatever, buses, even buses out here. So that makes it even worse. So Let's continue. That means if you're riding a Prague public transport vehicle home from work, the vast majority of fellow passengers have not had a shower that day. According to the survey, 94% of respondents felt that men were those responsible for odors on public transport vehicles. Yeah, and women. Here's the thing: it's going to be women too. The reason why I'm gonna go ahead and throw in women in that is because the concept of antiperspirant. See, there's many things that got lost in translation when it comes to pretty much like trying to copy technology from the West and how we run and move. So, for example, you know how antiperspirant says it says it'll last for 48 hours. Okay, now in America, anybody with common sense would know. It's funny. I shouldn't even have to say this shit out loud. Okay, I think I have my deodorant right here. It probably says it. My antiperspirant slash. Yeah. So here, you see this? Oh, you see that this is my antiperspirant slash deodorant, and see it says 48-hour protection, right? Now, even when I was a young and dumb kid, I knew that 48 hours of protection does not mean that I can put that deodorant on in the summertime because it's an antiperspirant. It does not mean I can put that on in the summertime and not have to bath for 2 days. Right? I knew that when I was a dumbass kid, right? But out here, like the concept of antiperspirants, of good quality antiperspirants, and finding one that works the best for you, like from the most that I've met and come across and talked to, like they don't seem to grasp that. Even my spouse, she doesn't grasp it, right? Just doesn't grasp it. So it's like, okay, well, I'll just let it just hang out and just be sweat. I'd rather just sweat and whatever. Right. The one thing I cannot stand is, let's say, if my antiperspirant fails or something, and like my underarms get like damp because I'm sweating. I hate that feeling, dude. I would do anything to keep that water from getting in my shirt under my arms. Right. I hate it. But yeah, like they just don't get it. Don't get a lot of them just won't. Now some will, like I said, but they usually have to move quiet. They can't be loud about it. But it's definitely it's definitely women too. I've come across some pretty girls on the trams that smell because they walk past you and you can smell them. It's definitely not just men. I think it's more memorable because it's easier to just look at a dude and expect it to be him. But no, it'll be some young cute girls that'll be smelling too. It says not all Prague districts are created the same. Prague 4 and 10 have had the highest rates of summer showering, and respondents say they had the least issue with smelly passengers in these districts. But yeah, because there's some richer areas. At the other end of the scale was Prague 5, which has the least frequent rates of showering in the Czech capital, that's where I live in Prague 5. And Prague 5 is big too, but I live in Prague 5. Many respondents also reported that they appreciate the chance to take a shower at work. According to the survey, 54% of Prague residents have the opportunity to shower at work, and 43% say they appreciate the fact that their colleagues take a shower at work. Showering habits in Prague may have gotten worse over the past few years. According to a similar survey conducted last year, Ipsos found that 1/5 of Czechs had reduced their hygiene habits during the coronavirus pandemic, with 5% saying they gave up on taking a daily shower. The rates were worst in Prague. In Czech capital, 8% of respondents say they no longer took a daily shower during the pandemic, compared to 3% respondents in Moravia. Yeah, that's wild shit, man. Bathing, hygiene. Because here's the thing: in the U.S., if you can kind of smell somebody, they gonna get roasted for that fast. Like we don't play that shit in North America. Like we don't play that. We just don't play that. Like the homeless people out here, how they smell is like a whole nother level. Like America's homeless can now thinking back, I don't even think I ever smelled a homeless person when I walk past them in America. Like we just like I'm sure they do, but overall, like they just that level of hygiene and body care is just you see it gets confused because Americans are usually fatter, but okay, Americans are fatter, but when it comes to actual body maintenance in terms of like caring for others, like that's where America just like dominates. Pretty much, I would say most of the rest of the world because one thing that you will find in the U.S. that you won't find in many other places is that genuine thought for somebody else and the future of somebody else being with you. Like that, I think that is truly something that's an American thing. Like, like I'm not saying I've been all around the world, but from what I'm kind of gathering, it's the same everywhere else or most other places. It's like that genuine, like when you're in public, like don't walk into somebody. Like there's okay for example, walking next to people, right? And I've spoken with people from the UK about this, like Westerners outside of North America, right? And I don't think they seem to get it either. In the U.S., okay, perfect example. At the grocery store, I was at the grocery store a couple days ago, right? And let's say a woman is either pushing her cart or pushing anything that belongs to you, right? Let's if you pushing your cart or you pushing a baby stroller, whatever, doesn't matter, right? Let's say, okay, in America, let's say you put the cart like 2 feet away from you to go pick up something, right? Now, if somebody comes and walks in between you and your fucking cart, that's a problem because you in between me and what's mine in America. I highly doubt you will find anywhere in North America where that's a good idea to do that. It is comfortable to do that, right? It's just how we are. Like you don't get too close. You don't cross in between me and they get way too close to each other. They like here all the time. It's always this like close shit. And I'm like trying to get the fuck away from like why are you walking so close to me? Like they do like and it's a thing like it's a thing that they really just don't get. Yeah, Eric, yeah, people in the US, yeah, we would start a fight over body odor. Like if you walk in the room smelling, motherfuckers would make fun of you. If you in the wrong neighborhood, you can get punched in the face for that. Right? But it's these areas of like truly caring for like the sitting down and like the well being of I'm talking like in like just moving and not like once you know somebody, they're usually okay. But before like it's like when you don't know them, like they don't understand, like they just don't get it. Like just the walking close to you, or like for example, I was walking with my son. I went to back to where I used to live, where I first lived when I came to Czech Republic in Vysočany, and um this woman, I was walking. I had my son in the baby stroller because I was just like walking around killing time with him, and I think he was asleep at this point. And this other woman, she was in front of me. She was ahead of me with her kid, roughly the same age, but her kid got out the stroller and was walking around. So the mom was like on the right side, and the baby was like her baby was like in the middle of the sidewalk, right? But they're a little wider sidewalks, but still not like super wide, but they're a little wider. And there was this young girl coming up towards me, and we were both getting ready. We were both going to try to go like around the baby, opposite of the mother. And I just already committed to going there, so I was gonna keep going because like that's another thing. Like the Czechs, like most Europeans, like they don't even like give you that sense of like I see you. I wait. They don't even do that. Like, they'll just like blindly just keep walking. Like it's almost like I like back to Hitler. Like I understand. There's a complete lack of politeness. It's just a complete lack of just general acts of politeness. They just don't have it in them, right? They don't mean anything by it, but they're just rude like by nature, right? So I'm just convinced. Something like is she really getting ready to walk into the baby stroller that I'm walking? I'm just gonna run through her because she sees me coming. So she at the last minute like cuts off and then walks in between the mother and her child. which I think is even worse at that point. Because I would never walk between the mother and her child. I think that's just incredibly rude. But that's a Czech thing. Like they just don't, like a general act of politeness is just beyond when you're out in the world, right? Not like with a friend, but you're out in the world. Like general politeness is it's just not a thing. And like back to Hitler, I understand. I understand. I get it. They just don't have it like that. Like or with body odor on the trams, they just don't care. Who cares? I shower next month. They just don't give a fuck, right? At all, right? And then wonder why motherfuckers don't want you in their country. Wonder why Germany trying to keep your ass over it across that. I mean, across that border. Yeah, I suffer from hyperhidrosis from my head. I can sweat very easily a lot. I really hate it, especially in the summer. Oh yeah, man. I know people who have that in their hands and feet too. I've seen that. Yeah. Yeah, and in the summer it gets a lot worse. Like in the wintertime, from the people who I've known who had it, in the wintertime it's not bad unless you get like unless they were to get nervous or something. But in the summertime, like their hands and feet were just always it's just always watery. It's always just sweat. Now you can't help that. Like that. Like if it's a scenario where you truly can't help it, I'm not mad about it, and especially if it's communicated right. No, I'm not mad about that. For me over here, it's the context of the whole thing. Like I said, or customer service. Let's look that up so you guys don't think I'm making that up. Uh, well, it's Quora. Quora's agreeing with me on this, but I don't like Quora. What's his WordPress? This is back in 2014. But yeah, like here's the thing: anything that relies on future thought and politeness just doesn't exist. They just don't have it. They just don't have it. Customer service. Yeah, I mean, you'll get lucky from time to time and just get like a good person. Yeah, I've had it happen to me. I'm not saying every single person is bad, but more like you would be. If there's any complication to anything, expect to just like be down for 30 minutes. Like I remember I went to go take back an iPhone charger. I bought for like $5 from this like it's called Pepco, and I just wanted to exchange it because it didn't work. They made me stand there and wait for like not exaggerate like 20 or 30 minutes. Because see, once you leave like Western countries, this is another thing. I won't say all non-Western countries, but definitely the one some that I've been to, it's the same thing. Like the concept of returning an item is like almost like blasphemy to them. It's like you bought it, so you stuck with it. Don't come back and ask for your money back, kind of thing, right? Like so I only prefer if I have to buy something where there's a chance it might not work or something like that, and especially if it's more expensive, I will only buy it from a company that's paid for by the West, like Tesco, um, or a company that has a good track record, like also has a good track record, but I will never trust a Czech company with something expensive. Won't do it because I know how they move. Because they'll turn Eastern European real quick and be like, fuck you. They'll do it. It's like, so if you come here, you only hang around the city center, they're usually always going to cater to you because you're probably spending double for it anyway, for whatever it is. So they're going to cater for you. If you come here, you go outside that city center and see how they really are. Yeah, see shit flips. See, these are the stories that Thomas Howells of the world don't get these sides of the stories because when they go places, they go to the city center and build their opinion off of that. And the city centers, like most city centers, are nothing, absolutely nothing like the actual place you're in, like the country city you're in. But yeah. I wanted to look up. Oh yeah, the smells. Yeah. But me and a guy were talking today. Back to a good part of it. We were talking about the women. To check the women in Prague. Beautiful. Uh, he was telling me the guy I was talking to today. He lived in Belgium, and he said like yeah, like the Belgian women. Because I told him that when I was in Portugal, like the women in Portugal was not looking good. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I can't think of any. Okay, live from living in America. My perception on pretty Spanish type women was severely distorted because I didn't see it from the reality. See, coming from America, living in the U.S., by the time that Spanish type woman made it to America, she was the best of the best of the best. Well, I mean, when you're talking like TV and shit like that, like in media, TV, stuff like this. By the time we was only going to get Shakira, Penelope Cruz, Salma Hayek's. We only going to get the best of the best of the best from where they came from, right? So we're not seeing like the regular Spanish, anything, any types, right? So I thought all of them was supposed to look like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like the beautiful Jennifer Lopez's when she was younger, these types of girl at the time, you know, and all these things like that, right? So I remember when I went to Argentina, I was severely let down. Like, to say the least. And I mean severely. Argentina. Whew. Now, there was a couple cute girls there. And by the time I had got them, I was so shocked. I didn't know what to do. And I just left. I remember I was getting on the elevator. And I think I called her. I think I called them out on something because they did some bullshit or something. And then I had got them at that point, but I was so shocked. I didn't know what to do. But you pretty much have. But this is in a rich neighborhood, out there at Recoleta. It's a richer neighborhood. So if everybody knows Buenos Aires, you know what Recoleta is. But I was severely let down by the masses. Now in Czech Republic, complete opposite. The most especially like the most average younger woman you're gonna see. Like okay, for example, when I go work at these banks, I literally, when I was talking to the guy today, like I could not stop like turning my head to look at another sexy ass professional bitch. You know what I mean? Like wearing heels, wearing a dress, wearing knee high boots, knee high heels. You know what I mean? She got her hair properly done, like all of them dressed well. Like, and I cannot stop turning my head looking at sexy ass fucking professional women. Right now. Now, nowhere that I seen in Argentina wasn't anywhere near that level, and definitely nowhere in North America. So when it comes to the physical quality of women, Prague is definitely the best I've ever seen. Oh, no, let me take that back. Ukraine. I always forget about Ukraine. 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 Okay, the reason why I'm going to say Ukraine is number one is because Ukrainian women make Czech women almost look like American women. They gonna put a lot their attention to detail in their makeup is far better. It's not even close. And like okay, on a normal weekday when a bitch is working at a cash register, it's not even close to a Prague woman, you know, dressed up. The Ukraine woman beats her. And then I remember when I went around walking around on like a Friday night, those women were unbelievable because they restaurants is set up to where they just take like the front is like a glass window, but when it's at nighttime, they'll just take the glass window off and then you can just walk in, you know, the whole building, you know, there is no door, right? You can just see them. And those women out there make Czech women look terrible. I remember when I came back to Czech Republic on the taxi ride back to my flat, there was a cute Czech girl walking down the street, and I looked at her, I'm thinking, she came out the house looking like that after coming from Ukraine. Because Ukrainian women put in more effort. In Kiev, I was in Kiev. They put in a lot more effort. It's the attention to detail. in their makeup is what they get. Is they just annihilate Czech women. It's not even close. But if all you ever seen was Prague, and then well, Czech women. Don't get me wrong, Czech women are not bad, but Kiev women annihilate them. Vietnam is pretty good too. They got beautiful women out there. Word up. No homo. Thanks, ABC. No drip. Was good. AD is a yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, with this body odor shit, man. Yeah, like it's just so annoying. That's the whole reason why I bought my car this time was because the way the tram comes up, it's just one big ass bridge. So like one time a year, they shut down the trams to fix to do maintenance on the bridge, and they shut it down for like at least a week or two. And like I was so annoyed with riding the trams and the smelly people on the trams that I bought that car for that, and so I can then to buy food at the grocery store in bigger amounts when it got cold. But they mostly because they just smell too bad on the trams. And that's the thing, like, and I was telling my girls, like I don't feel sorry for homeless people in Czech Republic, because because they have life on easy mode and don't even know it. Like when I was in college, I lived in homeless shelters by choice. And me and my dad talk about it because he said I could have always come to just came with him or asking for some money, but I wanted to make it on my own, so I lived in homeless shelters. And I was going to college. I was doing a biotech program. I started out in a homeless shelter doing a biotech program, and I still remember like the food on campus was just too expensive. I couldn't afford anything there, and the closest place you can go to get any food, not for anywhere near reasonable price was a Rite Aid, which is pretty much like Walgreens or maybe Dwayne Reed, if you know Dwayne Reed. So these places are not cheap. You can't find cheap options in Walgreens. It's always expensive in Walgreens. And I used to walk down the street just to go to Walgreens and still get raped on prices for food there, right? And I remember like my diet was so tore up. I was eating just ramen noodles and Metamucil just to get the fiber because I was just fucked up. And then at night I would go to the homeless shelter and actually get some food to eat, and then sleep, and then get back up and go to school. Right. So with these checks, I just don't buy it. Like, because I know what they paying for food at the grocery store. I like if I would have had access to the grocery stores that they have access to here when I was in the homeless shelter, I would have thought I was in heaven. Heaven. See, these are the parts that Europe doesn't want America to know. To see, like, just because they like not. And again, it's not all Europeans, but many of them have. They're just it's pathetic. Honestly, it's just patheticness. This lack. See, because this is the part that nobody talks about, right? Americans have it harder than Europeans, far harder than Europeans. Far harder. The average American has it at least twice as difficult as any European. Because in North America, you have to drive, you got to get on some wheels to get anywhere. And we don't have public transportation that works well. So you got to have a car. So that means most people are going to have a car payment or have a car bill in some way to fix it, something. And you got to pay gas because everything's going to be 20 miles away. You got to pay car insurance, which is what Czechs pay for every 6 months. We pay in 1 month for it in America, every month. And on top of that, our food has always been more expensive than, well, at least in Czech Republic, it's always been more. In Ohio, if I'm from Ohio, it's never been, even if you count the adjustment for spending power of the country, it's never been this cheap. Americans have it far harder than Europeans, far harder, and it's not even a discussion. Now, I don't know much about Britain. I don't know much about the UK, and I don't know much about. I'm not speaking for the UK and Ireland and that type of place because that seems to be a bit more like the US where you need a car. So I'm not really particular, but I'm talking about Europe proper. Oh, America's far harder. It's not even a competition. It's not even close. John Cena said he did the same thing. He said he lived in his car instead of going back to his dad's crib because he wanted to challenge himself. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I did. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know that, but yeah, same here. I went off and I told my dad I was living with friends or some bullshit, but I was living in a homeless shelter. I was living it was at St. Vincent de Paul. I could actually show you because now it's just the women because they moved all the men out. But back then it was the men, women, and children would all stay in that building. But they moved the men out to the old Dayton jail, and then I went out there, and then I got a studio apartment. Saint Vincent de Paul, Dayton, Ohio, because it was like off a back street. Should be, yeah, that's the building. I can tell by the picture right there. They've painted it, but they've painted it. Yes, it was off. Yeah, here it is. I remember I used to drive because I had a car and I used to drive, and you had to like talk to them and say who you are, because you got to get there early enough to get a bed, and they even got it on the Google Maps, so you should be able to see it. They've redone a lot of this. This was like 15 years ago. So yeah, so it was yeah. See this over here that's something I don't know what that is, but that's it back there. And I remember because you had to they've changed. I don't even recognize any of this, but that's the building I clearly remember standing. Yeah, so this is the gate where you would have to buzz in right here, and they would let you in to drive in there. Because I stood out there plenty of days in the line with homeless people, with other homeless people, waiting for to get called in. I hope I got a bed to sleep on. I didn't have to sleep on the floor. John Cena said he slept in his car. I think here's the thing, because I slept in my car a couple nights. I think sleeping in the car is harder. I mean, both are severely uncomfortable, but sleeping in your car is harder because you're always kind of worrying if somebody like watched you stop, if somebody's gonna call the police, if somebody's gonna come rob you. You just never really feel like the car sleeping in your like you would think sleeping in a car would be easier, like maybe if you've never done either one or two. But I looking back, I would definitely say the homeless shelter is better. Both of them will be hard to sleep in if you never slept in them. But I would say the home because in the homeless shelter you're gonna have some food, um, but you're just gonna be always around other people, like always around other people, and they're gonna be snoring, farting, laughing, getting into fights, that kind of thing, right? But now you sleep in a car, it's just you, and you can drive wherever you want. But at some point, you got to stop and because now you're just gonna waste gas. I slept in my car a couple nights. I wouldn't do it. I would not do that again. Sleep in my car. I'll sleep in a homeless shelter, but I wouldn't sleep in my car again because it's just and then it's just uncomfortable. Some people can do it. There's YouTube channels of people doing it. I can't like it didn't because if you recline, it doesn't recline all the way. But if you try to lay in the back seat and you're still scrunched up, you just never get anywhere comfortable. And when I was in New York the second time, we slept in the car at night. Um, and I just don't like sleeping in cars. But yeah, so John Cena, yeah, yeah. I mean, if he could do it, I'm glad he figured it out. But yeah, I'm the same way. I just wanted to see if I could figure out my life because I tell my dad like I get it like he's my dad and all this, but like I make it very clear that just because he has some money, that does not in any way, shape, or form mean that it's my money because he has some money. I don't want him to ever feel like like he has to keep giving me something. Like I never want him to feel like that. I want I truly see life as this is my life. I have to fix my problems, right? And that's now anything can happen. Um, I'm seeing stories of of back in the U.S. Prices have gone up like crazy, stuff like that. Um, anything could have happened. I could have ended up moving back in with him. You never know. It's life. We're all in this adventure together. Luckily, I'm in Czech Republic where, many things are cheaper. Many necessities are cheaper, I should say, which works out greatly in my benefit. But yeah, that homeless shit is no joke, dude. When you out there and you just exposed, like, to the world, you're exposed. I remember the first morning when I woke up, because it's hard to go to sleep the first night. I don't even remember. I don't know how I went to sleep. But I remember I just woke up and I clearly, like, how people say, like, they woke up and they thought it was just a bad dream. It was all a dream, but it was not a dream. Like, it's your life now. That's exactly what I went through. Like, I woke up and the first thought I had was, oh, thank God it was just a bad dream. I still remember that. And then it hit like, no, I'm really in here. It hit me. And that's when I knew, like, I was gonna do anything to get through school, because I knew, because I seen it at a young age. I seen it at just the right age. I was old enough to where I was old enough to where I can fully acknowledge the reality of the situation, meaning that I can acknowledge the reality of the situation now, and also acknowledge the reality that if I don't take any effort in my life, this is going to be a recurring situation. And I never want to be in that situation again. Never. So that was the moment when I still remember it, because I was writing in a journal, and I just started writing like everything I was feeling, like, I am getting out of here. I'm never coming back. I'm going to, do whatever it takes to get through school. Like, this is it. There is no dropping out of college anymore. There is no changing majors. There is no such thing as me dropping. It's not even a possibility now. I will get through school, and I will complete this degree, and I will continue on in life. Because I will do everything in my power to lower the chances of me ending up in this position again. Meaning being exposed as a grown man in a world with no education and no real skills to speak of, to offer anybody. Nothing. Like, I knew it. That was the moment. That was the moment. It clicked. I still remember some guys in there too. I remember one guy. He had that fucking disease where you just fall out and go to sleep. Was it narcolepsy or something like that? He had that. It was just like this beige dude with an afro. I still remember his face. I remember him. I remember one time I came home, because this was after it moved from this location. They moved to that, because now out there, at least back then, they moved all the men out of here, and they moved us like way on the other side of town, where like it was extremely far away. And we moved out there. I remember I came back one time, and so it was a jail. It was, so where they moved the men to, they moved us to a jail. Let's see if I can find it. Men's homeless shelter, Dayton, Ohio. If it's still in the same place. Yep, Gettysburg. Yep, that's it. This is it right here. Gettysburg Gateway. Can I go to maps? Okay, I'll just do this. Oh no, I can just do this, right? Why it's not letting me click that? Okay. See, see the name of the street? The street's even called Prison Road. Because I mean, you had to drive up this street and then go up here. And oh, that's not even going to let me. Yeah, okay. Because there's a big TV station. Yeah, see, so that's the shelter down there. I remember, yeah, because there's a big, there's Channel 45 TV. There's like a big tower somewhere over there. but that's where they moved all the men to. And I remember, so but it was an old prison, so there was like a basketball court when you first get through all the metal detectors and all that, and then it was just like a bunch of cells, and it was like a bunch of rooms. I remember when we first got there, um, um, they just gave us beds, and people just like put their beds like against the wall in a corridor or something like that. So you just walk and just see people like grown men just like randomly sleeping like all through there, dark, fucked up looking, just terrible. The place is awful. And um, so I ended up getting my own cell, my own room because I was in college. So if you were working or in school, they would give you your own independent cell. So I ended up with my own cell. Like it was a typical jail toilet, like the metal toilet connected to the sink and the bed on the side and all that. So I had my own cell, but you had a curtain for a door. And so I remember one time I came back, and the dude, he was like in the corridor, just like laying on the floor, like arm up against the wall, snoring, like he was just asleep on the floor. This dude he could have been any older. He was no older than 20 years old. He was on the floor, just sleep. I didn't know he had a disease yet. I thought he was probably like beat up or like passed out. He was just down there snoring, like. And then, like I seen him, I went over there and I like tapped him. I said, "Hey man, you all right?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm all right." And just got up and just started walking off. Like, yeah, I just be doing that sometimes. And but he was a cool dude. So I shared the stories before about because I was in there over the holidays. And what you learn is like in homeless shelters, see, people always want to come and volunteer on the days before the holidays, but on the days of the holidays, oh, nobody's coming down there to give you any, I mean, on any special food or anything. You're going to eat bread and butter on the holidays because everybody who has anything is going back to their family. So those are the days we like the days before Thanksgiving, the days before Christmas. Those were the days we ate, pretty good. But on Christmas, we had bread and butter, and not even good bread and butter. That's what you had, right? And so some kind of way I would go and hang out with them in the kitchen. And I remember one time I was hanging out there, and the dude with narcolepsy was back there, and and I remember he asked me, he goes, "How do you do what you do?" And I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" And he goes, "Well, because you got a car, and like, how do you even pay insurance?" So I ended up explaining to him, like, the whole situation behind paying. And then he asked me about college. Like, he was real interested in, I guess he like took a, he became interested in me by watching me because by that point I had already started selling dollar store food. So what I would do is I would go to because like I said, since this homeless shelter was way far away from anything to get to it, like you couldn't do anything once you got out there. So I had a car. So what I would do, that was the car I had the car payment, and I paid the car payment off early. I had that car. I would go to the dollar store and I would get like like how they have those like 12 packs of like oatmeal pies or like 12 packs of honey buns or like a 12 pack of like Fago, strawberry, orange, these kind of things. I would go out there and buy like one 12 pack of like each, right? It's like a dollar 25, something like that, right? And I would come in there, and it was these two young dudes, these two black dudes. Most people in there are black, but these two young black dudes. I said, look, I gave them the food. I said, hey, if you sell these for me, sell them for whatever price you want to sell them for. You keep however much you want off the top. Just give me. I said, just give me like double of whatever I paid for. So I think give me like $10 out of it. Right, something like that, right? I think I would spend like $5 at a time at the dollar store to get this food and shit like that. Something they could break off and sell individually. I said, look, sell them for however much you want to sell them for, but just give me like $10 or $12 or something like that, every time. Like when I come, when it's all gone, just make sure it balances out to that, and you can keep whatever you want. I don't care if you make $10,000 off of it, keep it. I just want my steady income. That way I know what to do, right? And they said, okay, bet, cool. And that's what we did. And I never had a problem out of them. There was they came back, they gave me the money. That was it. That was it. And that's the story I had where a long time ago I told the story of Ralph. It was this white dude and he was fucked up. And I remember because he had watched his family die in a fire. He was an accountant. He was supposedly a really good accountant, and he watched his family die in a fire. He was fucked up after that. And I remember I had come back, and they had a table set up in the homeless shelter, and they had the shit sitting out there. Like they set it up and everything, right? And I just happened to kind of come back, and I think I was bringing some more in to sit it on the table for them. And Ralph came up with another guy. He was a well-known guy in the homeless shelter too, and I think I just kind of stumbled into kind of helping him out. So I said, he said, the friend he was with, he asked me for a pop. I said, well, which one do you want? Because I had like orange, strawberry, and probably like cherry or something. I don't know. And then Ralph, he goes, the red one? Like he had like a bitch voice and everything. Like, he was just fucked up. He was like, the red one? And I was just like so shocked because I never heard him talk. Yeah, I just gave him the red one. I think I told him like 50 cents or something like that. I don't know. But yeah. And like anywhere, man. There's good guys and idiots wherever you go. But it was really this place was really in a bad location. Like you couldn't do anything. Like you could see on this Google, like there was bus routes, but the bus routes were shit. And this was like you go all the way uphill. Well, I could take you because it was like uphill over here. Wait, where am I at? Yeah, like this whole there was just nothing out here. You couldn't do anything. It was just houses, like, and this is a long walk, just one way, and it's not. And it was a terrible location, and the guys really got fucked over with this. Like I said, I had a car so I can move, but there was just nothing out here. You couldn't do anything. All the way up here just to get to a BP, and all this was there. This stuff was there. But you see how far that was, and that's just walking down. Just this, we're not even talking about walking down the other street. It's all the way up here. You had to walk all this far. Yeah, because there was channel. Yeah, that's the channel 45 news. Not news. The what you call it, the towers. You had to walk all the way up here, and then no, that's not it. Yeah, here it is, and then walk back in here, all the way up here, and then walk all the way back there. And that's a homeless shelter back there. Because I recognize that curb with the pillars. I can see it from here. As I used to park in that parking lot. And that's it. That's how bad the guys got fucked over in that. And the women stayed right out there in the middle of the city. They fucked the dudes over with that. That's fucked up moving me into an actual gym. Yeah. Eric, you say slept out of a car for years, but I knew where to go to be safe. Man, you are better than me. I could not imagine. I mean, I would have absolutely had to. I could not imagine sleep out of a car for a month. That was just too much. I'll just go to a homeless shelter and just make my social ladder up in there. I couldn't do it. It couldn't work for me, man. You're better than me. You did that shit for years. You better than me. Well, okay, then also you got to remember too. Back then we didn't have smartphones. I mean, did you do it before the time of smartphone? I think some of it could be a little easier if we had smartphones now, because now you can just have a smartphone and maybe get like a battery pack or something like that, and then just watch Netflix or some shit like you could have some entertainment. Back then there were no smartphones when I did it. It was just regular dumb phones, like just text message, call, and that's it. A ringtone, something like that. So there was no form of entertainment. If you were in a car, that was just it. You were just sitting there with your own thoughts, right? So but maybe you did it back then too. I don't know. But yeah, that's it, man. I'm gonna get out of here because I'm hungry. I just cooked some chicken with potatoes and carrots and peppers and shit. So I'm gonna go eat that. Cause I made some guacamole this morning. That shit had me full all day. I'm gonna go eat, man. I'm fucking hungry and see if I can fix this mod. I think I fucked the whole game up because I replaced a bunch of files when I installed this mod and it doesn't work. So I'm gonna have to reinstall the whole game. Let's see, unless one of these notes has something in here. Well, it says right here, fix 1980 Division 2 game crashing. It's still crashing on my end. Oh, it says, do you want the mod to break? Then heed his advice. Delete game data, vehicles, GT5 only if you have older versions. Well, it's crashing now, so I might as well delete this shit. It ain't working for me. But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go, man. If nobody else has anything to ask me, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll give it like 2 more minutes. But yeah, man, homeless shit. That was like it was an experience, man. But back to check homeless. It's like, dude, like soap is literally like 50 cents. Soap is like literally 50 cents out here. Like, even in your money, it's like 50 cents out here, right? Soap is 50 cent. Deodorant you can get antiperspirant for like $2. Right? It's not gonna be the best, but it's gonna keep you from smelling and being all that. Like a liter of bottle of water from the store is like 30 cents. It's not like America where like bottled water in America is expensive. Out here, bottled water is very cheap. So it's like there's no excuse to be walking around dirty like that. To walk around smelling and all that. There's just no excuse. There's more excuse for Americans to walk around like that because especially if you end up homeless and all that, because if you're in a position where you had to pay for water is expensive to buy in North America. It's not, maybe you could find a Walmart and find a good price on it there. I don't know, but yeah, no, I think more particularly Czechs are just very lazy. Not lazy, lazy in the sense of the world. They got free school, a great social system. You get pregnant, you got maternity leave, and no matter if you even worked or not. Like they have everything here, and they still choose to sit down and smell on the goddamn trams. Literally can't even figure out how to bathe every day in the summertime. You see what I'm saying? Like I just like it's pathetic. That's pathetic. Like I don't agree with genocide, but I understand. And then here's the funny part: like they look down on the gypsies. That's the funny part. Like they are gypsies, dude. Like that's what they are. Speaking about gypsies, I see North America's finally getting them. I got in this whole debate on YouTube in the comment section because there was somebody who commented who said they were from Romania and they're sorry for this, blah blah blah, 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 right? And so first, I think there's a big confusion, and I said this a while back on my channel. Um, a Romanian gypsy does not mean that represents Romania, right? Saying the term Romanian gypsy is almost like saying a Czech gypsy. But it's like the Romanian gypsies, that was like the main place that kind of where they came out of the spread. So like that name kind of stuck with them. So like so for people who don't know, they'll come to Czech Republic and say that's a Romanian gypsy. Like no, it's not a Romanian gypsy. That's just a gypsy. Like this a gypsy. That's a gypsy. That's here. But that Romanian stuck with it. So now that term throughout Europe is now turned into like, well, Romania was always kind of sketchy from the start, but that term has like kind of made them one, and they're two completely different things. But they finally made it. The gypsies have made it to North America because I watched these cop, because I guess probably because I was watching Chris Hansen, like more of these police videos come up, and they're starting to come up more of they're gypsies. Like I could look at them and hear what they do, and I immediately know the scam. I know what they're doing because it's old shit out here, dude. Those scams are old. Like the one scam that happened, and I got this was the one where I got in this whole big debate on YouTube trying to explain it. This scam is old in Europe, by the way. So if you're European and watch me, you already know this scam. You'll know it before. You'll know it by the first two sentences. There's a guy who drives around in a car. You probably already know it now. There's a guy who drives around in a car and he's dressed up nice. And he's usually driving like a relatively nice car. Like it's not like a piece of shit. It's a nice car. Either it's like a Mercedes or it's like a real nice like Toyota or some shit. But he's just like an SUV. Something like, but it's a nice car, and he's dressed nice, and he's looking presentable. And he goes, "Oh, I just ran out of money. My bank card's not working. I need gas. Can you help me? Here, I'll even give you my gold chain." And he'll take off his gold chain to give to you, or he'll say, "I have some gold to sell you." Right? Because he's just that desperate for money for gas for his car, because he has to get home to his kids or something, and he forgot his wallet or some shit like so. It's something, right? And then you, the victim, goes, "Oh, I just hit a lucky day. This dude needs money, and he'll sell me this gold chain for a low price." And you give him, even if you give him $20 for it, he paid $3 for the chain because it's from Temu or some shit like that, right? So that's the scam that happens. Right? So Americans have no idea this scam. Most, I would say. Based off the comments section and based on the fact they got like millions of views, they don't, in all the comments, that they've never seen these scams, mostly because our culture is not really set in line to really accommodate for European scams. European scams are mostly for socially populated areas. I'll show you another example of one dude. He's a real good guy to watch on this. This dude's a real good dude to watch. And he talks about all these scams. And this dude.
We made a video.
So watch his channel about now. Okay, now this video I don't agree with. Now this particular video, I don't agree. I think that he was kind of searching for content. I don't agree with this video. I remember this video. And like most people who will comment who have never been to Czech Republic a day in their life, they just like maybe have like an ancestor who's from Czech, so they watch his channel. That's what most of these channels really bring up. This video, I don't agree with him in this video. I think he was hunting. Given the entire context of everything, I think he was hunting, and this one video I don't like him for this video, but the other scams were real shit. He has other ones where so yeah, he shows in Italy scams in Italy. Thank you. But like yeah, so these scams, like European scams, are usually like they're European scams are built to accommodate high social areas, right? And so I didn't think that it would have translated well to North America, like with the gold necklace scam, the car scam. Okay, another popular scam, and if you're European, you know this scam too. If you're European in a major city, there's always going to be a woman, because only women can get away with this. there's always going to be an older, because the younger girls won't stoop this low. The older women who've lost their looks, they have to stoop this low. They'll be in the streets in the city center with a clipboard and some bullshit hat or something, and they walk up to you, ask you for a donation, and show you pictures of like deaf kids or something, and they want you to donate to the deaf kids, and they ask for your signature and to donate to deaf kids. Where there are no deaf kids that they're giving the money to. They're just going to keep the money, and that's another common scam throughout Europe. If you're European, you either know that exact scam or you know a scam that's in line with that, right? And they usually target Westerners, because Westerners just don't know. If they hear your English, like in your Western, you are an immediate target. Immediate. Other scams. Now I've watched. There's other scams that don't work out so much in Prague, but they work out in other European cities. It's like those sleight of hand with the ball in the cup and all that, and those words seem to work out more a bit out west. They don't do that in Prague at all. I've never seen that scam here, but I've heard of it and seen it in other places. So back to the other video that where I don't agree with them on with this one, because there are beer scams in Prague, but I remember, because I know exactly where this place is. I never got a beer here, but I know exactly where this is. I don't agree with him on this. There are beer scams, but this is not one of them. In this video, he goes in. Okay. The ultimate scam is that if you go to a high tourist area, they're going to charge you like roughly $4 for a beer that shouldn't cost any more than. Oh no! Let me say that back. They're going to charge you about $7-8 for a beer that shouldn't cost any more than $3 or $4 max. But that's just a normal thing in any capital city. So I don't really think that's a scam. The scam that he's trying to, okay, in this video, what he's trying to expose as a scam is they're selling beer from the tap. But what they're actually doing is they're going to the store. Remember those beers I used to drink on a live stream? And I'll show you in the video. Those beers I used to drink in those live streams, that was like a liter and a half. I used to buy those things for like $1.50 from the store down the street. And it's a liter and a half of beer, right? You can get a 6-pack for $5 and that's the expensive beer. But I just get regular beer, right? What they were doing was they was going to the store and buying beer in that big plastic bottle and pouring that out and selling you that as beer. And he's trying to call that a scam. That's not. I don't think this is a scam. And he goes up and talks to these people and asks how much they paid for the beer, and they didn't know. But yeah.
So I just got a text from Honza. Nobody would ever pour it to you from a plastic bottle. Yes, you're hearing right. We were told, or the rumors were saying, that in this restaurant they actually pour one of the cheapest Czech beers from a plastic bottle to these liter mugs, and then they sell it at a very high price to tourists.
Yeah, that's literally every bar in. I think he was reaching, but again, you talk about the internet, social media, intelligence isn't that strong. That's every capital city's gonna do that. So he went in there and caught her pouring the beer out. So he went in there just like antagonizing them. Yes, and they paid probably $10 for a beer, which is normal in a capital. That's not anything crazy abnormal. Where is it at? He went in there and like found her and caught her pouring the beer out of a plastic can. There it is right there. Yeah, there it is right there. So you can see. So if you go back and watch my old videos, it's even the same color. It was green. So she's probably pouring Zlatopramen in the beer mug. But they were advertising this from the tap, and they were charging like $10 for it. That's literally okay. So, of course, the comments section is going to be filled with a bunch of people who have no idea about Prague at all, and they just going to side with him because he just said it, right? Right. But that's every place in Prague. Now, he does have another great video of he has another great video. This pork this pork, and because it's real, it's very popular. Let me see if this is it. No, I can't. But it's very popular, and it always has a million people standing outside of it. I think this is it because they're the only ones out there that have the thing out like that. But they overcharge like crazy, and all their reviews. Now, what this dude,
Hey, we're the guys
what he
from
did
Prague.
was, it was a great video because what he did was he actually looked into all the reviewers that gave it 5 stars, and all the reviewers were from like a location in India where they don't eat pork because of their religion. And all the reviews that gave him 5 stars were supposedly from even on top of that, he even balances that part out by looking into how many people from India actually flew to Czech Republic, within the 5 years in that time period, and it wasn't even anywhere near like those amount of reviews could have never been real people from India doing that from the first place. So they just completely lied on the internet. I mean, lied for you all lied on the internet. But that place is a scam because the thing is now that's another thing that they hope that tourists don't realize is that they hope you don't know how much a Czech crown is, right? So like for example, like when my dad came here, I was trying to prepare him for this, right? I was trying to prepare him by telling him, okay, you have to be careful with the money because they know that you don't know their currency because you're from the West, especially you're from the West, and it's that big difference. Um, for many of these countries, an easy way to remember it on some functional level is to remember that $1 will roughly equal 20 to 30 of whatever their money is, right? So in Czech Republic, it's usually 24, 22 Czech crowns equals $1. Now Poland is the one that's just on their own program with their Polish zloty. I can never keep track of their currency at all. But in these countries that use Argentina was the same way. I think it was like 20 Argentine pesos equal like $1 or something like that. Because so here's the thing. So I remember I was trying to tell my dad like you got to pay attention to this, and he goes, okay, yeah, I got it. I said, are you sure? He goes, yeah, I got it. I said, okay, let's say if I was a taxi driver and I drive you somewhere and I say 800 crowns for the ride, how much is that? Right? And you got the things like, okay, yeah, I really don't know because what the fuck is 800 crowns? I don't know what that is. So 800 crowns would be roughly 35. It depends on where the currency is. About $40. Let's look it up real fast. 800 crowns should be about $35. 33. I was $2 off. Yeah, you guys can see that. Yeah. So that's a hard, like you gotta get, and then because any capital city, especially the further you go from the west, they know that you don't know the currency. So their first ballpark is gonna be something ridiculous, but not extremely, but just enough to where you may not think about it, right? And they know that. So that's why, especially in Prague, you'll when you walk down any street in Prague, for anything, is it doesn't even have to be beer, but let's just use beer as an example. One place may charge you, 40 crowns for a beer, and literally the bar like 2 stores down will charge you double, but just don't write it outside. They just won't write it outside. So you don't think it's all the same thing, and you get stuck with that bill, right? See, these are the little tricks that you see in America. That's not anywhere near as common. One, mostly because we don't walk like that, right? But two, we have a deeper sense of unification and knowing, right? Like we have that deeper sense of unifying. Like if an area is doing something, then we got to compete within that area. So we're going to compete with them like on a more honest way. Like for the most part. Now here again, I remember my first car I had here. I needed like something super basic done to it. One car shop charged me literally like 7 times the price to fix the car than the other shop did. And I'm not exact. It was like 6 or 7 times the price. They'll do like they have no sense of like in Europe they have no sense of thoroughly communicating anything. They just like that's a big weakness that America has a huge strength with. In America, we communicate shit. We thoroughly communicate. Everybody's gonna know what's going on. You get out to Europe, motherfuckers don't know. They just live their life like that. They just live their life in ignorance. Right? Right. Right. Just this quiet to themselves situation. I'm gonna let y'all go with this. So remember last week I talked about punch, um, and how over here, like in America, if you were to say, yeah, there's some punch over there. In America, you would absolutely never assume that there's alcohol in the punch, unless you're in like a club or something like. And even then, as you'd have to ask, is there alcohol in it? Like you wouldn't assume it, right? It's normal for us. Punch is a fruit drink. It's not a specific fruit drink. It's like just a fruity flavor of drink, right? Not juice, drink. But over here, since all they've gotten was American movies, they've been watching too many American movies where they just spike the punch with alcohol. So in some kind of way, they just they did for some kind of way in when they got the American media, they didn't put two and two together that somebody was spiking the punch, which means that's not normal. So they think it's normal for punch to have alcohol in it. So when I got some extra, I went to go get vanilla extract. I got punch because I figured it would taste like fruit punch, and it was just straight alcohol. And he said, yeah, you didn't know that. Like, no, I didn't know that. And no, because in America, punch does not mean alcohol. But they misunderstood it and assumed that punch always has alcohol in it from those movies, high school where they spike the punch and shit like that. I said, first off, I've never seen anybody do that. That's strictly movie shit. Right? Right? Just saying the word spike the punch. Okay, if you even think about that for 5 seconds, you know that's complete movie bullshit because there is no way you're going to spike a punch with any regular alcohol, and high schoolers aren't going to be able to tell the difference and get drunk off of it. Maybe if you put some moonshine in there, some of that Everclear shit that has no taste to it, you can do that. But any regular, no. You can, especially a high school is going to taste it immediately because they don't drink like that. But get this, and this is the other issue I have with Europe on a whole, and the world on a whole, and just culture, right? You see, Americans, the world is stupid. America has this misunderstood sense of stupidity for other reasons, but the world is dumb, right? So, one of my students, we were talking about it. And first she Googles what fruit punch is to verify what I'm telling her as somebody who lived in America his entire goddamn life, right? She Googles fruit punch. and then she Googles, does fruit punch have alcohol in it? Right? And she goes, oh yeah, see it says right there, it can have alcohol in it. And I'm trying to tell her, like, no, like, you could put alcohol in ranch dressing. Like, in America, if you go anywhere in North America, okay, even if you go to a bar, right? And motherfuckers be like, yeah, I have a beer, I have a whiskey, I'll take a fruit punch. You automatically know that this motherfucker must be the designated driver. Because he's not drinking. Right? Hang on. What's this called? I don't know who that is. Somebody calling me. Let me see what it is. Hang on.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Let's see what it is. Hello?
Hello, is Wendell available?
Yeah.
Hi, Wendell. This is Judy calling from Facebook on behalf of the university itself for
I'm good right now, but I'm a bit busy. Can I call you back in a bit?
Sure, sure, no problem.
Okay, cool. Thank you. You gotta call you back on this number.
813-612-3524 would reach me directly.
Hang on. Say it one more time.
813-612-3524.
Okay, I'm just can you call me back in like maybe 10 minutes? I'm just real busy right now. I can't write it down.
Sure. I can give you a call back in 10 minutes. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
All right.
Bye. So that was one of the schools that I applied to go to get my other masters, which I'm probably not going to go there because I'm talking to another one right now. I've already filled out literally everything at the other school. That school was calling me, um, I guess to ask me more about it. I don't know, but I'm probably not gonna. I'm probably not gonna go there. More than likely, I'm gonna go to the other one because I've already sent all my transcripts and did the whole statement of why I want to do the program and all that other shit. So I'm more than likely, as long as nothing happens, I'm probably gonna go to the other school. But I'll talk to them just to, I'm not gonna burn a bridge right now. There's no real need to. But yeah. No, and see, and that's what I was talking about a few weeks ago. See, that's the frustration as an American in the world is that everybody assumes they know about North America. Like they assume they know about it because they grew up watching the movies and all that stuff and listen to our music. So they just assume that they have this knowledge on North America, but it's like all these little things that they'll just have completely wrong. Like, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, don't even like accept it. It's like they'll want to fight. Look, here's the thing. They'll fight you about North America. Even though you lived there your whole goddamn life, they'll come to you and fight you on the logic of it. It's a really weird situation that North America's in the world, right? Like I said with the fruit punch, like she's gonna sit there and argue with me about fruit punch, my favorite fucking drink in North America. Tahitian treat is actually my favorite drink. Y'all know Tahitian treat? That's my shit. Tahitian treat. Mm. Love Tahitian treat. But it's usually only in poor neighborhoods. They don't sell it in rich neighborhoods. It's only in poor neighborhoods. In Ohio, it was only in poor neighborhoods. You gotta go to the hood to get Tahitian treat. It's delicious. Tahitian treat. Y'all don't know nothing about it. What y'all know about that? You don't know nothing about Tahitian treat. That's the shit. But she gonna sit here and argue with me about fruit punch and then Google it to reinforce her misinformation because she can Google it. But that's as an American, that's what you're gonna have to face when you go out in the world and have like in-depth conversations. Because here's the thing, 'cause Americans usually don't try to fight other people on their own culture. Like we don't go to somewhere and try to fight them on their culture. You know what I mean? Unless it's like a legitimate fact, right? A historical legitimate fact. I'm not going to Argentina to fight them about the Spaniards. All right. I think I know. You can educate me on, but as an American, like they will fight you about North America. And they ain't never been. Or been like one time, and then one time they went to New York City, which is like nothing like the rest of North America. Like like North America is really in a weird position in the world, right? It really is. It's a super awkward position. Super awkward position. Yeah. Hmm. Or like trying to tell people Burger King. So like Burger King and McDonald's, Burger King, McDonald's, and Kentucky Fried Chicken are pretty much always going to be in every shopping mall you go to out here. Pizza Hut, probably. Popeye's Chicken just came out here. It's actually one down there by the mall, too. They just put that here, too. So I try to tell people, like, no, you got to order. Okay, Burger King, McDonald's, in the fast food Burger King, McDonald's of course is always number one, and Burger King was always some secondary shit. Burger King, I mean, you got some people who like there was some favorite dishes from Burger King. Don't get me wrong, but Burger King overall was like the not right version of McDonald's. You know what I mean? And then and then like Kentucky Fried Chicken is is not like you're not gonna see Kentucky Fried Chicken in every neighborhood, and you're not gonna see Kentucky Fried Chicken in a mall in North America. As far as I know, I've never seen to even think Kentucky Fried Chicken being in a mall in North America. That don't even sound right from where I grew up. Kentucky Fried Chicken was like its own just thing. But it was popular, but it was its own thing. And Popeyes was like low. Popeyes was like Burger King, but lower than Burger. I mean, people still had favorite shit, and it's not the worst tasting chicken, but it was like in popularity, it was always lower from what I remember. But they don't know that because how they got exposed to it is it's American, so let's go eat it, right? And so it's in every shopping mall you're going to go into, you're going to find at least a McDonald's and a Burger King at minimum, at absolute in a Kentucky Fried Chicken at minimum. You're always going to find those. So then their percent, and then on top of that, they're not even getting the same Kentucky Fried. Their Kentucky Fried Chicken does taste good, but it's not the same. Like they don't even, I don't even think they have the original recipe. At least when I was eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, when I was eating food like that, they didn't. They just had the crispy. They never even had the original recipe. So they're not, and then on top, it's not even the same original, the same crispy. Like they're not even getting the same shit. Right? But then they'll sit up and argue with you about that's what life is like as an American. Again, because they can just go on Instagram or something and educate themselves on American media and shit and they'll think they know more about it, right? So I'm gonna let y'all go with this. The last thing came up. I was with my Russian friend and we went to a bar, which sounds like a joke. I know, sounds like an opening of a joke, but and we met a bunch of Germans, right? First, before we start talking to these two other bitches. And and I asked him about the Hitler thing. He goes, "Yeah, I know where you want to ask me about Hitler." I say, "Yeah, I got to, man, because it is like that is fucked up that the world recognizes Germany with Hitler. Like it's synonymous, right?" So we talk about that. So then he asked me about the dumb. I mean, he goes, "Are Americans really that dumb?" And I said, "Yeah, but Europeans are just as dumb." And he asked me like, "Well, why do you say that?" I said, "Well, because he said like, is it true that Americans don't know where countries are on a map? We don't know the flags and all that." I said, "Yeah, of course it's true. Yeah, but it's the same thing for y'all." And he asked me, "Well, how so? Why would you say that?" I said, "Well, can you play on a map and tell me where North Dakota is?" And he goes, "No." Do you know the flag? Do you know Maine's flag? No. Yeah, see, it's the same shit. But see, if I do it for your part of the world, they'll make a Jimmy Kimmel skit about me, and everybody will see it, and everybody can understand it because it's going to be spoken in English, right? But if somebody in German gets asked questions about where's Kentucky at on a map and what's the Kentucky flag, right, nobody's gonna know it because it's gonna be spoken in German. It's going, and on top of that, it's probably gonna be some localized German on top of that. So motherfuckers ain't even gonna know or not even gonna care, right? So both sides are dumb, but America just gets far more recognition for its downsides, whereas the rest of the world just hides theirs in their language. Another example, I was watching a skit. I was watching this thing where this dude had got pickpocketed. Now there was some debate on whether the pickpocket was fake, but the thing was he was outside walking and recording it, right, and caught the pickpocket like cold. So there was a debate on if it was fake or not. But here's the other part: there was a French school walking, and the woman in French was talking to the kid, and the kids were no older than 10 years old. And the woman says in French, "Yeah, we're not in school, so I can slap you out here. Don't cross the street." But she said it in French, so Americans won't know. They can't. Most Americans won't be able to understand French. So that glorification of Europe and that image stays in Americans' minds, or many other people's minds, because much lesser people speak French on a functional level than English in the world. Right? I mean, a lot of people do speak French. I'm not saying French is a very popular language, but English is number one, right? See, it's these things like countries can hide in their own, so America just won't know their problems, or other countries won't know other countries' problems because they'll just hide it in their language. Like in Europe gets away with a lot of these little quirks. Like I think on Instagram, I wrote a comment on a video, which I never do. But I only get on Instagram when I'm taking a shit. And it was this Polish mayor, I think it was. And this is where Europe is so full of shit, dude. Like 10 times more than America is. Because they hope you don't ask questions because it's Europe. So this man, I think it was a mayor. You can probably find it on Instagram, I don't know. But he was saying how Poland does not let in Muslims, and they don't have any tolerance for Muslims, and they made sure that they would never let in any Muslims. Now, okay, and to let's say an American or a British or something like that, like they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know because see, once you get out there like too far west, like they just jumble all this shit up as part of Russia, right? They don't know. Polish sounds Russian to them. They don't know, right? So they won't. So somebody from out there won't know. Now okay. So I remember very vividly. There was a big issue where the EU did not give Poland enough money to pay for border protection to keep the poor Europeans out. So what happened was Poland just didn't block the border. Well, what happened was all those poorer countries got the memo and just ransacked that border, and they all just let me see if I can find it. That was about three. Let me see. That was because I remember I was driving, and because it got bad in Prague because they came to Prague and they was standing outside with street signs begging for money and just in packs because they was broke. They gave their life savings to get into the West, right? But okay, but where I'm going with that is, see, where that mayor is full of shit and he knows the Westerners won't know is because Poland is like what Hungary was. Poland and Czech Republic is the route to get to richer countries. Poland does not have the wealth that's worth their time when they got Germany they can go to. They got Norway they can fuck around and figure out to get into. They got the Netherlands they can get into. They got France. Poland and Czech Republic, look, the reason why Poland and Czech Republic does not have a Muslim problem is because Poland and Czech Republic are not rich enough for the Muslims to waste their time here. Not because it was from their wisdom of keeping them out. It's because they're not worth enough to keep them in. They trying to and that's exactly Hungary tried to pull that shit in a different way. They tried to pull when the war in Ukraine happened. Hungary tried to say that Hungary tried to get more EU aid by saying that they took in 300,000 Ukrainians. That was half the story. Out of those 300,000, 298,000 of them left to continue to try to get further west. Only like 3,000 of them actually stayed in Hungary, and that's how they got busted because somebody asked questions. That's what tends to happen when you're a piece of shit. Right? That's what happens. Let me see if I can find because Poland, I remember Poland because they didn't pay, what was it? I don't know how I'm gonna find it because I don't know how I'm gonna type this in. Poland, because it was all on the news out here. People, oh wait, let me do this. People paying. Yeah, it was about 3 years ago, so this has to be it. Yeah, yeah, they were paying Bella. Yeah, yeah, they were getting. Yeah, see these are the stories Thomas Sowell don't be talking about. CNN ain't gonna cover this shit. You ain't gonna hear nothing about this in North America. You will not get this news in North. You will not. They will not put this on CNN News. If they will, it's gonna be very short, and in times where they know you're not gonna watch it. They would. People were selling their life. They was giving they life savings to get over to the West. Yeah, they used the Polish border to get further in. See, these migrants were not getting into the Polish border to stay in Poland. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Poland. I like Poland, but yeah, like understand the position is what I'm getting at. Understand that the reality of the position. They were not crossing that Polish border to stay in Poland. Just like they were not going to Hungary to stay in Hungary. They were using that as a route to get to a richer country. So when that Polish mayor said that, like I wrote a comment saying some shit, saying pretty much that, like they weren't they're not staying they're not leaving Poland because you're so great. They're leaving Poland because you don't have any money to keep them there. You're not poor. Poland's not poor, but it's not rich either. What do you think is Czech Republic's biggest problem? What do you think is Czech Republic's biggest problem currently? Um, waiting for Germany to pay for everything. That's their problem. Okay, no, well, no, let me take that back. The Czech Republic's biggest problem is actually not its own fault. Is being landlocked. Czech Republic's biggest problem is being a landlocked country around a group of struggling states. Meaning, in the position that Czech Republic's in, when you have this many people sitting around each other who can't get along unless North America forces them to, you have very little hope for getting ahead in technology. You have very little hope in keeping up with virtually the rest of Europe. You have extremely little hope of protecting yourself if a war breaks out. So what position does that really put Czech Republic in? Czech Republic's in the position where it has to sit down and wait to pick sides because it can't defend itself. So, but this is a long time, and this was probably around the 16th century when this officially started, when maritime trading actually started to take off. So this is 500 years in the making. So the weakest point now it comes from there, but the weakest part was what happened after that is a combination of a few things, but the overall bigger situation is that habit stayed in them. The habit of sitting around and hoping and waiting for somebody to give you something. That habit of holding your hand out and expecting something in any way possible. That constant habit, due to the circumstances, it's too deep in them. It's deep. It's too deep. It's so deep in them that they have no shame for taking free billions of EU dollars every year. They have no shame in it. It's that deep in them. Look. So just in case anybody thinks I'm lying. So this is how much money every country puts into the European Union every year. This is the first thing I'm going to go over. Germany puts in the most. France, Italy, Spain, they put in good amounts, but they're actually putting in a lot more. And that's a whole other topic with the euro, how Germany is just robbing them. But nobody talks about that either. Germany is just robbing them by strapping them in with that euro and making it illegal, making it impossible for any country to leave the euro once they adopted it. But that's a whole nother subject to talk about. But regardless, Germany puts in the most, France, Italy, Spain. And let's look, Czech Republic ain't even in. Czech Republic is down here. To how much they contribute to the EU. They're here. Can you see that? Right? Now, so yeah, here it is. Net contributions. They're taking free money every year. Oh, Poland is like really off. What year is this? Make sure. Yeah. So net contributions means after everything's said and done, right? Who's given and who's taken? Contributions minus money received. So I'll be good. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this. I'll admit to that. But they're taking a lot more than they're putting in there, in many different ways. Because see, what you also have to take into account in companies like Skoda. Skoda. The only reason Skoda is even halfway decent was because they became German engineered. It's a Czech company, and it was literally the laughing stock of cars until Germany funded it. And most Czechs don't even know that. Right? But back to the original topic. The original okay, Czech Republic's biggest problem comes from the circumstances that happened roughly 400 or 500 years ago, and they've been stuck to that ever since. They're waiting for Germany to take them in, and it's never going to happen because Germany. If you sit down with a German for real and talk about it, no German is happy about contributing that much money to the European Union. There is not one who would be. If the European Union was not a thing, Europe would be a very different place. If it wasn't for that European Union, it would be Europe would be a very extremely different place. If they were to go in right now and strip that shit out, it'd be a whole different situation. Let me go back. Make sure I'm reading this right. Net contributions to the budget by millions of euros. Contributions minus the money received. Yeah. So they're far in the negative. They're just taking money. These countries are just taking all the money, and these countries are giving all the money. But again, if I'm misunderstanding this, like let me know. Maybe I am. But how I'm understanding this at the top, net contributions to the EU budget by member state. So these are the contributions. And these are the contributions minus received money. Yeah, just taking free money every year. And then get this. These countries will get mad that these countries aren't listening to them. Right? And I had to explain this to my spouse. I explained this to her. I said, "Do you see how dumb this is?" Right? So these countries have the nerve to sit up and get mad about what these countries are doing and thinking. Right? Like it'd be like with me and my son. Like when my son gets older, right? And my son will get mad because I don't buy him a PlayStation 10. Right? Well, he's already receiving housing, food, clothes, and all that. Like, but he's a kid; he doesn't know, right? But in countries are adults. Yeah, yeah. And see, it's just these basic things that, you know, if he were just, if you, do you think Germany would try to expand again if there was no EU? I think they would have to. Well, okay, no. If there were no EU, what would end up happening was mostly every other country would end up just okay. If there was no European, if there was no European Union, this shit would be okay. The only thing keeping Europe from the stereotype of what they try to spread Africa as, Europe would end up worse than Africa. Worse than the stereotype of Africa. It would be worse. All of this shit would fall, or there'd be either there'd be a severe genocide because Germany would just have to do it. They're about the only ones who can do it, right? When you're talking about the EU, they're about the only ones who can really do any damage. Germany would have to just do what Hitler did, um, just follow through with that, or they would all just devolve into just scum. Because all that would happen, see, all these countries would just move in to all these countries. They would all just move in. That's all that would happen. Cultures get created. And see how the Czechs look down at gypsies? See, they don't really realize they ain't nothing but a half step away from fully becoming a gypsy. But they don't see it. Like they get these jobs funded by the West and they think there's something better. But they're nothing but a half step, not even a half step. I say a quarter step away from ending up gypsies. Cut that EU money out, and they gonna be fam. Them gypsies gonna be family with them Czechs. They gonna be homies then. But yeah, if I would say Germany would have to, especially with the position it's in now. Germany would have to. They would have to do it. They would have to. Germany would have to. Like, if there was no European Union, I think it would be inevitable that counting the UK, Ireland, all this shit would just go to shit. It would go to shit. If it was not for the EU, it would all go to shit. I think especially at the point it is, the best bet would be Germany just does what they try to do in the 50s, well, in the 30s to the 50s. That would be the best bet for Europe to even survive. Because if you take out the European Union, okay, either America or Russia is just gonna take it and calm the people down, or because let's say if there was no European Union and no other major world superpower could come in here and touch it, they would just kill each other. They would kill each other slowly. It would everything that they think Africa's like and all that shit, they would be worse. Europe would be worse. The reason why I say it'd be worse is because at least Africa doesn't get cold. But see, because it's gonna get cold here, while they hurt each other, stealing from each other, taking all the free shit from each other shamelessly, and then it's gonna get cold. On top of it, they're gonna devolve back into 17th century or worse. If it wasn't for if it's either Germany, you have to just say fuck it, neo-Nazi time, brother, or that's it. They're going to go back to the 17th century because there's nothing about their history that says they could ever keep it up on their own. There's nothing about their history that says they can ever unite properly. There is nothing about in any modern after the Roman Empire. There's nothing about their history that says they could unite on any level cohesively. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I gotta eat. So I'll catch y'all later, man. Y'all have a good day, evening, night, and I'll talk to you later, man. I'm supposed to get a call in a bit too. So y'all let y'all go, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace out.